All right, we are, let's see, are we live? We are almost live. Here we go, getting live in every place I can get live. Let's see if I can get Instagram going for an hour. We'll see. Live video. Welcome, 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 everybody. This is our virtual book tour. Let's see, virtual book tour. I'll call this Meet the Authors. We're going to get started in about 13 minutes, and I will tell you about our wonderful brand new book, which I'm so excited about, launching today. Sorry, I'm just trying to get live on all the different streams here. Let me copy this, and I will paste it into StreamYard. If I can find StreamYard, where'd you go? There we go. All right, let's see if I can get one more Instagram, which has to be a pain when it comes to streaming, but that's just the way they are. Go live, hopefully, or not. All right, well, Instagram, pain as always. Hopefully we can post it later, but welcome. Oh, here we go. Yay, Instagram, go live. All right, well, it'll only go live for an hour, but at least it'll go live. All right, welcome. I am so excited. Today is a very exciting day because it is the launch of our brand new book, which is called Mastery of the Mind, The Pathway to Empowerment. Very excited about this book. I love doing collaboration books, right? I could always write a book myself. I've done many. And, you'll get just my perspective, which, that's a good thing sometimes, but other times it's really wonderful to have multiple perspectives. And that's one of the things I think is so great when we do these collaboration books like this, is there's just a multitude of perspectives in this book. There are things in this book that I wouldn't have said, but when I read them, I go, wow, that's brilliant. That's amazing. And improves my life and changes my life as well. So I'm very excited about this. If you don't have the book yet, or you haven't ordered the book, excuse me, we are doing our book launch today. The book launch is a process for us to get this into as many hands as possible, to change as many lives as possible. And hopefully the intention is for us to hit #1 best-selling author status today or tomorrow. And so the way that we're going to do that is we're going to bribe you with an ethical bribe. And we're offering $1,000 in free gifts. Oh, that says $4.59, and that is from our last book, actually. This book is a little bit bigger. So it's $6.15 is the price. And so for just $6.15, not only do you get an amazing book, 224 pages of amazingness, but you also are going to get, I'm in the wrong folder. That's why. There we go. So the book is called Mastery of the Mind, The Pathways to Empowerment. The launch is today and tomorrow, May 4th and May 5th. The only way that you get the $1,000 in free gifts is if you order today or tomorrow, May 4th or May 5th. Right? That's my mom's birthday today, or Cinco de Mayo tomorrow. Here is how you get the book. And the only way that you get the $1,000, if you want the not $1,000, but the $1,000 in gifts, is if you buy through this website, because there are special instructions on this website. All right. And only if you buy today or tomorrow, May 4th or May 5th. And so here's how you do it. Go to masteryofthemindbook.com, masteryofthemindbook.com. And you will be able to, when you're there, and I'll paste this into the chat here. Hopefully this will show up in all the chats on all the masteryofthemindbook.com. When you go there, you can read a little bit about the book, read a little bit about the authors. There's a button that says click here to get it now. And when you do that, it will give you the instructions on how to get the book for $6.15 and how to get $1,000 worth of gifts. All of the authors have put together an amazing set of gifts. There are courses in there. There's guided meditations in there. I'm giving away a course, guided meditations and hypnotherapy sessions. I think somebody's, if I remember right, I think somebody's giving away a free session, like a group session with something. There are all kinds of wonderful gifts in there. These gifts are purely for thanking you for supporting us during the book launch. If you ask me, I think more people should know about neurolinguistic programming, about hypnotherapy, about positive psychology, about energy work, about health, right? And this book is a collaboration between people who are experts in all of those areas. Primarily a book about neurolinguistic programming. That's the thing that ties us all together. But we all have other expertises that elaborate and go beyond the NLP boundaries. But if you ask me, I think more people in the world need to know this, right? You look at the state of the world today. Well, not the state of the world, the state of people in the world today. And I think it's very clear that people need to do something to improve their mindset, to improve their lives. And so, I've been for 24 years, I've been on this journey, this mission of taking hypnotherapy and NLP and the things that I know to as many people in the world as possible. And so part of our goal today is to get into your hands. So hopefully you can master your mind and change your life, but then also so that it creates that buzz around it so that other people see it and we get it out to as many people as possible. These books definitely change lives. And so here's how you do it. You go to www.masteryofthemindbook.com. Make sure you leave this window open because we're about to start our author interviews. And for the next, what's it going to be? 2 hours and 15 minutes. I will be interviewing the first 9 authors of the book, starting with Dr. Lori Emery. And then tomorrow at the same time, I will be interviewing the next 9 authors of the book. So there's 19 of us in total, including me. I wrote this book, or I came up with this project because I'm on a mission to help people change their lives. I think we need this more than ever in the world right now. There are so many things going on in the world, things that don't even affect us. There are things that are happening halfway around the world and the other side of the world that don't really affect us. But of course, the news and the internet and social media and everything will make sure it brings it front and center into your face so that you feel like the world is ending. The world is not ending. The world is a beautiful place. The world's a wonderful place. You can have an amazing life. And we get all caught up in this negative energy, this spin cycle that's always out there trying to scare us, trying to stimulate us because it makes them money, right? And so we have to manage our mindset. We have to get to the point where no matter what's going on out here, outside of us, we choose to have the life that we want. We choose to create the life that we desire. And that's something that you have the power to do, something everybody has the power to do. But most people don't know it. And that's the thing is, the subtitle of this book, it's Mastery of the Mind, but the subtitle is The Pathway to Empowerment. This is the thing that I think most people are missing in their life is empowerment. So most people will say, it's not my fault. It's this, it's that, it's all these things. It's, politics, it's upbringing, it's my parents, it's this thing that happened to me when I was whatever years old. And people will point their finger outside of themselves and say, that's the reason that I'm destined and doomed to live this life that I'm living right now, which I'm not happy with. And there's nothing I can do to change it because most of the time people say, well, that happened in the past and I can't change the past. Not necessarily true. You may not be able to change what happened, but you can certainly change how you think about what happened, how you feel about what happened, how you react to what happened, how you act, right? All of those things are within our power, but most people, they've forgotten it or they've never learned that. And so that's one of the reasons why I decided to do this book project, right? And we do a couple of these a year. And it's a great opportunity for us to bring together a lot of different experts, people who have, not just the same knowledge in NLP, but a lot of other knowledge and different perspectives and bringing that all together into one book. So I'm about to start interviewing the authors. I'm really, really excited about this. We're going to start the interviews in 5 minutes. So make sure you grab some popcorn, get some coffee. This is my non-go-go juice because it's caffeine free, but I do like the taste. And settle in. So again, if you missed it, we have a brand new book, which is dropped today. And I'm going to share my screen here. Let's share my screen so I can show you the website. Well, which one is it? That's the question. Probably this one. There we go. So here's the website. When you go to masteryofthemindbook.com, this is what you'll see. A beautiful website designed by our team. You can read a little bit about the book. You can read a little bit about the authors, and then you can get it today for not $20. It's worth $20. I'll tell you that. But you can get it for just $6.15. That's, by the way, the absolute lowest price that we could make it through our publisher. It's the lowest price that we could make it. And the reason we did that is because we want to get it into as many hands as possible today. So make sure that you get it. Here is the picture of the book right here. And it's about 224 pages, and you'll learn all kinds of wonderful things in it. So all you have to do is go to masteryofthemindbook.com, masteryofthemindbook.com, and you'll be able to get this amazing book and $1,000 in gifts that myself and all the authors have put together as thanks for supporting us today, May 4th, or tomorrow, May 5th. The $1,000 in gifts only comes if you order today or tomorrow during the launch, right? It is a launch special. Monday, if you wait until Monday, you will get no gifts from the launch gifts. Now, the cool part is every author has also added gifts at the end of their chapter, right? So when you're reading the book and you're going through and you get to, say, Dr. Lori Emery, who I'm about to interview, there is a gift at the end of her chapter as well. So not only do you get the $1,000 in launch gifts when you order this weekend, you'll also get the gifts at the end of every chapter, almost $1,000 in gifts just there. So it's really, if you order today or tomorrow, it's really almost $2,000 worth of gifts, which is amazing for $6.15. And I know you're absolutely going to love it. So stick around for the next couple hours. I'll be interviewing the first 9 authors today, and I will be interviewing the next 9 authors tomorrow. So same time, Pacific time, 10 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow. Excuse me. And it's going to be amazing. Let's see what comments are coming in. Lisa Sullivan said, we absolutely love Joanne Kleppel, one of the co-authors, and we ordered 10 books so that we can hand them out to our yoga students. I love it. Let's get yogified. Chad and I are excited for the release of the book. Yay. Thank you so much, Lisa. Really, really appreciate your support. Ina said, may the 4th be with you. Of course, we have to say that all day today. And she said, I agreed. Robert Francis from the UK just said, just ordered it on Amazon. Can't wait to read. Thank you so much for your support, Robert, and for your daily likes and comments on my posts. I absolutely love that and appreciate that interaction. And I appreciate your wicked sense of humor. I love your jokes. All right. So it is masteryofthemindbook.com. That's where you can get it. A lot of people say, can't I just get it on Amazon? Yes, you will be getting it on Amazon. But if you want the gifts, make sure you go through masteryofthemindbook.com. We will lead you to where it is on Amazon, but there are specific steps you have to take, instructions you have to follow in order to get the $1,000 in free books or in free gifts. That's why you have to go to masteryofthemindbook.com and click the button that says get it now. You have to follow the directions there, otherwise you're not going to get the free gifts. Amazon will not tell us who bought the book. That's the reason why we have these special instructions, right? So you have to buy the book on Amazon. You have to forward it to a specific email address, your receipt, and then we will know that you bought the book, and then we will send you the free gifts. So that's why you're going to masteryofthemindbook.com. Everybody I've seen that's ordered it in the last 12 hours is either getting it tomorrow or Monday. So it is very fast to get the book. All right, I am very excited to bring on our first author who we are interviewing, Dr. Lori Emery. Lori is chapter 10, which is Beyond Mindset. So Dr. Lori Emery is a transformational coach with a doctorate in psychology. She's guided countless individuals towards success and personal growth for over 2 decades. Through her work with Build Your Life Design, she helps entrepreneurs, CEOs, and high achievers foster emotional wisdom and spiritual depth. Recognized as the Businesswoman of the Year, Dr. Lori's unique blend of psychology, coaching, and spiritual insights empowers others to rewrite their stories, and embark on a journey of self-discovery and profound connection. So her chapter discusses the limitations of focusing solely on mindset for personal development and healing. And I love this. It's a holistic view of mindset, right? Lori, you emphasize the importance of self-connection and processing trapped energy, which can manifest as physical symptoms or psychological barriers to success in various areas of life. So Lori, what inspired you to write this chapter?
Well, the first thing that inspired me is my own journey. I was someone who I've always been an achiever, and I always knew my purpose and wanted to make a difference in the world. And I found myself using all mindset tools, doing what a lot of people do. They go to coaching, they go to personal development workshops, to learn about themselves. And I was struggling with my own addiction at the time in the very beginning of my work while I was going to doctoral school. And just the mindset wasn't breaking it. It wasn't getting through to the root of what had me emotionally. And so the mindset tools were really powerful and they've helped me, but for me, I really see the benefit of looking at mind, body, spirit, because when we're young, that emotional energy gets trapped in our body. And when it gets trapped there, it's what's driving all of our results in our life. It's like the seeds we plant in the ground. Whatever that seed is going to be the fruit that comes from the tree. And so what occurred for me on my journey, and then coaching thousands of high achieving people, I got to see when using the combined tools of moving the energy up and out, feeling the unfinished somatic, emotional pieces that needed to be healed, and combining that with mindset and being connected to spirit, was where the breakthroughs began to happen for me in my life. And I want that, Michael, for everyone on the planet, because I believe that when we heal ourselves, that energy then moves out onto the earth, the planet Earth, and we are going to be the people who create the tipping point, where we have a world of people who are conscious and kind to each other.
I love it. I love it. And one of the things I love is in your chapter, you really encourage readers to embrace the holistic approach to healing that honors the interconnectedness of mindset and physical sensations and emotional processing. And this involves something that is referred to in your chapter as somatic healing. And that's a phrase that I don't think a lot of people are familiar with these days. It seems like it's kind of an emerging part of healing. So can you explain what somatic healing is?
Sure. Well, soma is the body. And somatic healing is being connected. I always say, imagine your body is like a thermometer, and it lights up and gives you information as you're walking through your day. And so the mind is one part of what's operating in this meat suit that we're housed in. And if we can be connected to when physical sensations occur, then we can go there, ask what emotion is there, and feel through it, because emotions are like waves. And when we're little and something happens, the emotion starts to come up and it feels so big that we're like, okay, and we squeeze it off and it gets trapped. And the idea for the healing is that we go all the way through the wave until it's finished. And that's where healing happens. It closes the loop. So being connected to where the body gives you information is the way to go there. And I call bring all parts home, right? Knowing all parts of yourself and being able to feel through, which releases that energy and gives you the space and allows you to expand in a way that you can then accomplish and reach all of the goals that you want to manifest in your life.
I love it. You, in your chapter, one of the things that you talk about is that holding on to unprocessed negative emotions can not only affect the mind, but also affect the body. So we have this interesting cycle here, right? Where the holding on to negative emotions in the body can affect the mind, and then holding on to the negative mindset can affect the body. So can you elaborate on that, the other way around of holding on to those negative emotions and what the effect is on the body?
Sure. I mean, to me, that the dis-ease is disease comes from holding on to negative emotion. And there's so much research that shows with negative, and you call it negative emotion, but holding on to emotions that's unhealed actually creates disease in different parts of the body. So if you're holding on to anger, a lot of times you find you've got gut health issues or kidney issues. And so relating back and understanding the body's information, that when you start getting sick, there's information if you connect it to your emotional well-being. So the more you clean that out and allow that emotion to be released, then you can live a healthier, more fulfilled life. And you've got people walking around on this planet. A lot of people, are taking medications and dumping medicine on it, when really they're struggling with unfelt emotions. And now we call it depression, or we call it anxiety. And to me, Michael, anxiety is because we've shoved in our feelings and we haven't allowed ourselves to feel them and process them and understand ourselves to be able to then live the healthiest life possible. So for me, it's the bottom up process instead of top down. Is we allow ourselves to feel, it gets released, and then information can flow, spiritually speaking, energetically speaking, through the body when we allow it to release.
Yeah, I love it. There's an immense amount of research that shows that, for example, when people receive a transplant from another person, kidney transplant, lung transplant, heart transplant, whatever it is, that the other person actually receives the energy, not just the energy, but actually the memories of the person who donated the organ. And that's, what's your take on that?
I think everything is energy. And so I also believe that when we heal, along with those lines, I feel that when we heal one person at a time, that energy does affect the rest of the planet. And that the war that's going on over in Ukraine and what's happening in Russia, that all of that does affect everyone on the planet. And so I think that if you buy into the belief that everything is energy, then it only makes sense that whatever emotional energy is connected to an organ gets transplanted to another person. And now those two energies are connected.
Yeah, it's interesting. Today is my mom's birthday. My mom passed away 21 years ago, last month. And I absolutely watched emotions eat her alive. And she refused to let things go. She just harbored everything. She held everything in. And there's a particular doctor that I study called Dr. Hammer. He's got a map of the body and all of the organs in the body, which emotions actually affect the body. So this is, for a lot of people, I think they hear mindset work and they go, oh, that's just about achieving money or getting a raise or whatever it is, like people think it comes down to achievement, but there's so much more to, living an empowered life, a happy life. What are some of the ways that you help people process those negative emotions somatically?
So I don't actually call them negative emotions because I think that emotions are like, if you think of a painter who has a paint palette and all of the colors, brown, black, gray, red, white, whatever it is, they're all necessary to create art. And I think of us the same way, that we're the painter and our emotions are all the paint that we use to express. And so if we can learn to feel emotions fully, then we're fully expressed and understand those emotions. So it's not about feeling feelings and reacting out in your life everywhere. It's about feeling those feelings and understanding what do I have attached to that feeling? How young is that part? Is there information there for me? Because to me, when we can connect to all parts of ourselves, because every part of ourselves has gone through an experience, then we can fully understand ourselves emotionally, somatically, spiritually, and it frees us up to be able to live the healthiest version of our lives that we possibly can. It's all connected. We can't just do one tool and expect that we live as fulfilled and healthy as possible. So to me, we're the context, right? We're the environment that our life is created out of. And if we keep this clean, then what gets created in our space is all healthy, whether it's in relationship, health and wellness, money, it's all part of abundance. It's all the same.
I love it. And yeah, we tend to use the terms negative emotions, but in my view, all emotions are useful. I don't like to label them negative emotions myself because they're all useful. If you get a negative emotion, it tells you that there's something in your environment that is not in alignment. Right. And what most people do then is they just hold on to that negative emotion. They don't do anything about it. Right. Humans are notorious for not doing anything about the problems in their life, except complaining about them, And, I know for me, my grandmother, when I was growing up, she always used to watch like the first half an hour of the news. She would tune in religiously, top of the hour. She'd turn the news on. And then right at the 30-minute mark, she'd turn it off. And I asked her one day, I was like, the news isn't over. Why did you turn off the news? And she said, because that's when all the negative stuff comes up. That's when they talk about all the murders that happen. That's when they talk about the wars that are happening. Oh, the economy is going to collapse. All of this stuff. Now people are talking about civil war and all these things, right? And I said, so why don't you watch it? Don't you want to know about it? And she said, if I didn't see it, it didn't happen. And I remember when I was a kid thinking that my grandmother was so naive, But now, as an adult and especially mindset expert, that's something that I've really grown to respect. And I've gotten caught up in these kind of news cycles every once in a while, where it's like you go, "Oh, this is big. I better pay attention." And then you start tuning in, and it's like then all the negative stuff comes up. And so even myself recently, I've just gone through a big I'm not watching any news on anything that's going on around the world, and it brings a lot more bliss into my life.
Sure, absolutely. When we talk about complaining, I always say to my kids, you can either create or complain, and you're going to have an experience either way. And so living in the world of creation and abundance and trust and faith and love is where the freedom happens. When we live in fear and lack and scarcity, we suffer. So
I love that. Create or complain. That's a great thing. I love it. We got about 2 minutes left. So what is one great takeaway that you can give from your chapter kind of as a teaser, a taster for the people who are listening right now?
yeah, for me, the biggest piece is if you want freedom, it's critical that you know yourself and that you have the courage to not ignore those little taps on the shoulder that come in our life day to day, but be willing to be conscious and be curious and in discovery about yourself. Because the more that we can lower the waterline of what we can see in our own body and who we are, the more we can master our own success and fulfillment in all areas of our life, and then live a life that's so filled with love and joy, which I think is what everybody wants.
Yes, definitely something that I think if more people had more of those things in their lives, the world would be a much better place, right? If we just focused on love and joy and following our bliss.
And gratitude.
Joseph Campbell says, if you want to find your purpose in life, because most people don't believe there's a purpose to life. It's pay bills and die, right? You just spend 60 years paying bills, or 75, 80 years paying bills and dying. And, Joseph Campbell said, if you want to find your purpose, follow your bliss. How do you know what your bliss is? Follow love and joy, right? What brings you joy? What brings you love? What makes your cells dance and your soul sing?
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. So again, we are doing this here today because we are promoting our brand new book that just dropped, 11 hours and 13 minutes ago. 9 hours and other way. I don't do time zones right. 13 hours ago. And it is available today. We're doing our book launch. The book launch is today, May 4th, and tomorrow, May 5th. If you buy during our book launch, and follow the directions on the website, then you will get over $1,000 in gifts from the authors. Each author has put together a special gift specifically for the launch, as well as a gift in each chapter. So really, you're getting about $2,000 worth of gifts for $6.15. And in order to get it, you go to masteryofthemindbook.com. Why are we doing this, by the way? Why are we doing this big book launch? Well, we want to get this into as many hands as possible so we can change as many lives as possible. And then personally, we would love to hit best-selling status. And so what we are looking for today, and by the way, you get it by going to masteryofthemind.com. That will give you all the instructions to get the gifts. What we're looking for today is to hit number 1. So let's check our stats. We have already hit number 1 new release in neurolinguistic programming. We're looking for number 1 bestseller in that category, as well as a couple other categories. And who knows, maybe we can actually get a positive book to number 1 on Amazon today. So right now we're number 3 in the NLP category, number 29 in spiritual self-help, number 111 in motivational self-help. Look at this. Out of 36 million books on Amazon, we're right now number 3,203. We're like, that's like top 1%. We're getting there. So we got a long way to go still. That's still a long way to go. So make sure that you get the book today or tomorrow to help us on this launch event. When you click the link, you will come to this website, click get the book now, and it will give you all the instructions to get the book and to get the gift. So thank you so much, Dr. Lori Emery. Very excited to have this book and super honored to have you do this book project with us. All right. So next, we are going to bring on our next author, who is Bethanne Schultz. Hi, Bethanne.
Hey, how are you, Michael?
I'm great. So Bethanne is a life coach based in Southwest Florida. She offers compassionate guidance and expertise to individuals navigating personal growth and life transitions. As the founder of Tranquility Life Coaching, LLC, she utilizes various modalities, including NLP, hypnotherapy, success coaching, EFT, breathwork, and time techniques to help clients overcome challenges, break free from limiting beliefs, and unlock their full potential. Bethanne remains committed to supporting her clients in achieving their goals and facilitating profound personal transformations. So Bethanne's chapter explores the concept of becoming a safe person to love, which I love this idea. Because most of the time when we're in relationships, we're always like trying to find a safe person to love, but we're not trying to become a safe person to love. So she draws parallels between personal growth and the journey of the lotus flower. She emphasizes the importance of cultivating emotional safety in relationships through empathy, compassion, and authenticity. And she discusses the complexities of building and removing emotional walls, highlighting the needs for self-awareness and courage in dismantling barriers to genuine connection. So Bethanne, what inspired you to write this chapter?
Thank you, Michael, for having me. Before I share my answer, I want to give kudos to the little Follow Your Bliss that you just shared with the author previous to me. I love Finding Joe, the movie Finding Joe, and Joe Dispenza's Joseph Campbell's Following Your Bliss.
Mm.
What inspired me to write this chapter? I had been going through difficult life situations. My kids were grown. I became an empty nester. I had the same career for 20 plus years. I was ready to make a change and I didn't know how. And so I reached out to some people, a therapist and a few others. And the recurring theme that kept happening was becoming a safe person to love. And quite honestly, I didn't know what that was. I definitely didn't love myself at the time. And therefore, if you don't love yourself, how can you possibly reach out and love others or be loved by others, right? And so for me, it was transformative to dive into this a little bit deeper. And this is, 3-4 years ago now. And that common theme just keeps coming back and keeps coming back. And so when I had the opportunity to be a part of Mastery of the Mind book, I thought, oh my gosh, this is just my core belief, becoming a safe person to love. And that's what propelled me to write the book or the chapter that you have there.
I love it. That's definitely something I can relate to myself. There was a significant portion of my life where I did not love myself. And I thought it was even almost preposterous that a person could love themselves. Like I didn't understand it. So that resonates deeply with me. So in your chapter, you emphasize the need for personal growth, resilience, and vulnerability. Mm-hmm. Many people hear those three words and immediately withdraw back to the comfort zone, right? I don't want to be vulnerable. I don't want to grow. I don't want resilience. So what is the payoff for people to lean into these often uncomfortable paradigms?
Well, the payoff is exponential, but to chunk it down using NLP language, if you're not looking in the mirror and giving an honest opinion of where you're at in your life, how can you discover where to grow? That's where I use the analogy of the lotus flower, right? If you don't know the analogy of a lotus flower, it's a beautiful story. So the lotus flower lives in the mud and the muck, right? Mm-hmm. Underneath the surface. And every morning, the lotus flower pushes through that surface level of the mud. And as it slowly hits and the sunlight and the sunshine shine on it, all of a sudden the petals open up and bloom and it just becomes this gorgeous flower. And then it stays that way all day long. And then in the evening, it folds back up, it closes up, and it slowly submerges itself back below the surface. So using that analogy, we as individuals going through life challenges, no matter what it is, it could be personal, it could be professional, it could be relationships, it could be family. If we don't take that hard look inside and realize where we want to grow, what do we want to change? What do we want to expand in our reality? We're not going to grow. We're just going to stay stagnant. We're going to stay under that level of mud. And so, by realizing that we want growth is a huge step. That's probably the biggest step. Number one is admitting that we want to grow or admitting that there's something we need to grow. But then it's taking that next step of vulnerability. And that probably is as scary of a step as growth, but you're actually realizing I want to change, right? It's not that I need to change. Now I want to change. And so that vulnerability is a little bit scary. And then you have your resistance and you have pushback. Those people in your life, when they start to see you change, all of a sudden it's a little different for them too, because you're not the same. I'm not the same Bethanne I was before. I'm becoming who I'm meant to be. And they have to start either accepting your change or adapting, right? And so,
Right.
Growth, resistance, and vulnerability are the keys. And then once you're above that surface and you start blooming and blossoming, it only just is, sky's the limit from there.
I love it. The principle that you just described, we call crabs in the bucket syndrome, right?
Yes. Because
when you throw one crab in a bucket, it will always find its way out. But if you throw 10 crabs in a bucket, they will pull each other back in. Yeah. And so speak to that. That's once you start growing, once you start changing, I think a fear that a lot of people have is that, what if people don't like me anymore? What if people reject me? What if they won't love me? Mm-hmm. So speak to, because that's a big part of the vulnerability, right? It's being willing to grow, being willing to be resilient in the face of these fears that we have.
Right. That's a great question, Michael. Thank you. For me, I can correlate it back to my own growth is once I decided that I loved myself, which took a long time. It was a long process. I would take 5 steps forward, 2 steps back. And I think that's pretty natural for anybody. But once you get to that point where you start loving yourself, all of a sudden, your confidence level increases. Your vulnerability goes by the wayside, at least for the most part. You get to that point where I always use a hula hoop analogy. I know some people think it's funny, but once I stay within my hula hoop, everything's going to be okay because it's within my control. Once I go outside of my hula hoop and, I'm dealing with other people, their opinions of me, their judgments of me, their own insecurities that they're trying to project on me. If I just stay within my hula hoop, it's okay if people don't like me. I'm okay with that now. In the past, that would destroy me. My self-esteem would plummet instantly, and then I'd have to crawl my way. I'd have to be one of those baby crabs and crawl my way back out of that bucket. But once you're secure with yourself, it doesn't matter what other people think, because quite honestly, other people's opinions are none of my business.
I love it. I love your hula hoop analogy. I read a book years ago that was sent to me as a gift, a little tiny book, and it was about a rowing team that came from somewhere in like the continent of Africa where there's like not even water basically. Yeah. And this rowing team became the #1 rowing team in the world. And when they were interviewed and asked, how did you, when you were in the race, there was this other team that was doing this and these things were happening. Did you wonder if, and every person in the rowing team, they all said the same thing. That's outside my boat.
Yeah. Because look forward.
Right. They only were concerned with what was inside their boat, which speaks to one of our favorite topics in NLP, which is being a cause. Right.
Yes.
Being a cause for what you can be a cause for, and anything that's outside of that, you don't focus on. Right.
Yeah. And, diving into that a little deeper as I'm going through my additional training through Transform Destiny, and I'm getting my master practitioner's license currently as we speak. Actually, as soon as I'm done, I have to head out to class or I'll be late. But, when you realize there's cause and effect, right? And for me, the effect is, he did this to me, or because it was raining, I couldn't do X, Y, or Z. And you're always constantly putting on something else. When you realize that you're a cause and you own and take some personal responsibility for what's going on in your life, your actions, your reactions, your moods, your emotions, once you realize that you're a cause, you don't have to blame the outside world for whatever's happening in your life. If you're going through a slump, give yourself some grace and go through the slump. I constantly am saying the serenity prayer to myself, give me the serenity to accept God, give me the serenity to accept the things I can change, the courage to change the things I can, and more importantly, the wisdom to know the difference. What's outside of my hula hoop, what's outside of my bucket of crabs, it doesn't matter. All that matters is what's right in here.
There are some people who believe that it's better to blame that outside person. It's not my fault my life is messed up. It's that person who did that thing to me. And what would you say to those people who feel like maybe that person deserves to be blamed?
I can tell you in 2 words. It's called own it. You need to own it. If you're making a mistake, if you're feeling less than, if everything outside of your realm of control is, life is beating you down and it's everyone else's fault, you know what? It's not. You need to own it. Your part in that. You have to own the part that you played in that. So even if someone comes and yells at me at the grocery store, what's my part in that? Well, maybe I bumped him with my cart. Maybe they said hello in aisle 9 and I didn't say hello back. I mean, who knows what it is? But I had a part to play in that. And as soon as I own it, the rest doesn't matter.
Yeah, our friend Mike Davis, master trainer of NLP, he calls it the 100% solution. Being a cause for everything, right? It will solve every problem in your life.
And it's just such a more calm way to live your life.
Yeah.
You don't have this roller coaster of who's doing what to me, because it doesn't matter. I don't have the control anyways.
Right. And I always tell people, even if somebody did do something to you, it's far better to focus on how you're a cause for how you're behaving and thinking and feeling now.
Yes.
Even if you can't get to cause for what happened then, which I think it's best if you can, at least try to get to cause for what happened then. At least if you can be at cause for who you are now and how you are now, what you're thinking and feeling now, that's the most important way to be at cause. And there's a lot of lessons for learning how you were at cause for the thing that happened as well. But it's how are you going to live your life now? You know, there can be two people who go through the same horrific situation. And for one person, it will define them, and it will be the reason why they can't have a good life and ruin their life. And for another person, it will define them and be the reason why they succeed and why they grow and why they're resilient, which is a word you use in your chapter, which I absolutely love.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I think too that, you know, you have those two pathways that you just described, correct? And you can choose to let life take you down, or you can choose to take the past, take the lessons, take your mistakes, own it, as we just talked about, own it, and choose to make yourself better because of it. I mean, your past is your past for a reason. Isn't the analogy the reason the windshield is a zillion times bigger than the rearview mirror is because your future is so exciting and it's all ahead of you. So learn from your past. You don't have to run from it. You don't have to escape it, but you need to learn from it and take it and utilize it to grow.
Yeah. I love, I think it's Richard Bandler says, you know, the past is over. The future hasn't happened. The moment of now is a gift. That's why it's called the present.
Right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. All right. So we are here promoting our book, which dropped today. It's called Mastery of the Mind, primarily a book about NLP, but a lot of other insights in this book as well. The launch event is today and tomorrow, May 4th and May 5th. And you will get $1,000 in gifts if you support us during the launch today or tomorrow, May 4th or May 5th, for buying the book. And you can get it through masteryofthemind.com. Get this, the book is only $6.15. Just a measly $6.15 to get about $1,000 worth of gifts. And here's what you're going to get when you go to that website. You're going to see this website right here. You can read a little bit about the book. You can read a little bit about the authors. You can click this button to get the book now, and it will give you specific instructions on how to buy it. You will buy it on Amazon, so you get it through a trusted partner, but then you have to email your receipt in order to get the gift. So all the instructions are there on the website. All right, Bethanne, let's check our stats. I saw Elizabeth just posted that we have apparently hit number 2 in neurolinguistic programming. Well, mine's still showing number 3. Sometimes it takes a minute to look at that. There we are, number 2. Woo! I love it. We are getting closer. We still have a long ways to go. So if you haven't gotten the book yet, please help us out and support us. We're number 11 in spirituality. So we've moved up there, and who knows, maybe we're even the top 100 on motivational self-help. But we will keep refreshing this throughout the day. And hey, all the co-authors, if you see a number that I haven't seen yet, make sure you get snapshots, get screenshots of all of our progress along the way. All right. I love it. Thank you so much, Bethanne. I really appreciate it. Get on over to Master Practitioner and keep on learning. Hakalau.
Hakalau.
All right. Thank you. All right. Now, I am excited to bring on our next author, Joanne Cipollaro. And Joanne, hi. Joanne,
hello, Michael.
Hi. Joanne is the founder of Live Your Yellow Brick Road and YogaMeetsYou.com. She's a master of change and transformation who empowers women to get unstuck and live their lives with purpose. She combines the science of change using neurolinguistics, hypnosis, and coaching with the art of change, drawing from her skills in mindfulness and energy practices. Joanne's a certified expert in various disciplines, including time techniques, hypnotherapy, change management, Reiki, Kundalini yoga, and oops, I lost my notes there. Gotta love it when that happens. And also the author of Natural Healing Techniques, Get Well and Stay Well with Asian bioenergetic therapy. There we go. My tongue is now cooperating. In this chapter, Joanne shares her transformative journey from feeling stuck to creating a purposeful life. She introduces the concept of personal breakthrough experience, which helps individuals clear limiting beliefs and patterns, identity values, and understanding the root causes of problems. She emphasizes the importance of self-discovery, taking action, and focusing on the desired outcome to create your life on purpose. So, Joanne, what inspired you to write this chapter, Create Your Life on Purpose?
Ooh, well, I think, Michael, I found that a lot of us, particularly women, but more than women, we find ourselves at a certain point in life and we just feel we're stuck. And I found myself in that position probably about 15 years ago. And I hadn't realized, I had thought I handled my past really well, but I hadn't realized that there were a lot of things in my past that, even though I thought I handled them well, I wasn't handling them well. So I found myself really stuck in not knowing where to go next, how I got to where I was going, how I got to where I was. And God, I couldn't even think about where I was going to go. I didn't know where I was going to go. I didn't know. I just needed to. All I knew is I needed to change, and I needed to change something about me and my life. I had been repeating patterns from childhood, particularly abusive situations where you get in and you're like, oh, and then I realized one day I am in a relationship, and it's not physical abuse, but it has all the signs and everything that abuse as a childhood had. So the purpose really is really to help women and help others to figure out that, there is a way. Every day is a new day, and we can change. It doesn't matter what our age is, right? For me, it started at 40, and now I'm 55 or 56, and I'm still changing. I'm still learning something new every single day. So it doesn't stop. If we find our purpose, we can live it. We can create our life, no matter where we are and no matter what has happened in our past.
I love that. That is, I think, a central theme in the book is that, the past may be set in stone, but the future is yours to determine. So in your chapter, you cover one of my favorite tips from NLP, which is focus on what you want rather than what you don't want. Why is that so important, particularly when it comes to the subconscious mind?
Yes. Well, a lot of us, at some point we are so stuck on what we don't want. And when that happens, what's going to happen when we're focused on what we don't want? That's exactly what we're going to get. Just a little example, and this is really tiny, but it was an epiphany. I had my first breakthrough many years ago, and I didn't realize until months later that I wasn't calling myself a klutz anymore, and I wasn't bumping into things anymore. So that to me is a very small example of you focus on what you want, because that's what you're going to get. So if you focus on all the negative things, that's what you're going to get. But once you start focusing on the positive, focusing on specifically what is it that you do want, a lot of times we don't ask ourselves. We complain about what's not working, but we don't ask ourselves, what is it that we actually want? When was the last time that you sat down and asked now not you, of course, but what is it that I truly want out of life? And yeah, so
yeah. It's I had a friend of mine who was an NLP coach, and she actually bought those. You remember the easy buttons that they used to have at Staples? You'd push the button and it would go, that was easy, right? Well, they have recordable ones. And so she bought a recordable one and she recorded into it. So what do you want? And every time her client would, she'd go, what do you want? Well, I don't want a boss that yells at me. And she just hit that button. So what do you want? Over and over and over again. It seems like as humans, for some reason, I don't know if we're conditioned or we're trained or whatever, people are trained to focus on what they don't want in life, right? Well, I don't want to be in a relationship that keeps me confined. I don't want a boss that yells at me. I don't want to be poor. What, what is that? Why are so many people focused on that, do you think?
Well, think about when we're growing up, we're always told what not to do, right? We're always told what not to do. And that kind of gets ingrained. We know that the first 7 years of our lives are the most important. That's where a lot of the programming happens. If you think of your mind like a computer program, that's where all the programming happens. But it doesn't mean that it can't change, right? All programs can be changed. You just need to go in and figure out how to go in and change it. And NLP actually gives us a quick way to do that.
Right. Yeah. So what do you say when you bring up this topic of focus on what you want? What do you say to people that are like, but what will I do to be prepared in case I fail? Isn't it safer to focus on what could go wrong so I don't get hurt?
Well, that's easy, but you're setting yourself up for failure, aren't you? Because again, you're putting your focus on what's not going to work instead of what can work, what will work, and asking really critical questions. Well, what happens if it did work? Imagine if it did work, what would the results be, or what results do you want, and imagine it happening, right? Instead of focusing on what's not, and anything and everything that can fail. And I have to say, before I started this work, I was the same way. I would sit there and I would focus on, but if I do this, all of this can happen. And I also find today, and because I'm more aware that people around me, particularly family and friends and people that aren't in this line of work, you hear it all the time. And sometimes you want to go and you shake them and stop, because it's like, stop, just stop,
right.
Because there are ways.
Yeah, it's I've had to particularly guard myself from family members sometimes, and friends, and people who have not explored, this realm of being, because in their mind, like, if you just focus on what you want, you're just being delusional. You're just fooling yourself. Right.
Well, you have a choice. You can focus on what you don't want or what you do want. Which would you rather do?
Right.
If you're going to get what you don't want, then that's not going to take you anywhere. But why not try something new?
And I always love to ask the question, how's that working for you?
Oh,
right.
Man. Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to compare my life to anybody else's, in a negative way. But I mean, a lot of times those people who think I'm delusional, I can just, hey, let's look at our two lives and tell me who's right. I love it. Renee Walker Queensberry said, I love Joanne. You have the best energy. I can't wait to read this book.
Love it. Thank you, Renee.
So in your chapter, you shared that 15 years ago, you found yourself stuck in a toxic marriage that repeated a lot of the same patterns of abuse and alcoholism that you experienced as a child. So what was your catalyst for escaping that situation?
Michael, I had gotten to a point where I just felt I didn't want to live with the behaviors that were in my life anymore. That was the big thing. It had been going on for 15 years, and that's a long time. A little bit slow, but I got there in the end. And that was my catalyst. I do not want to live the rest of my life. I didn't know about values at the time, but innately I knew that the behaviors that I was experiencing, the way I was being treated, the way I allowed myself to be treated, is not the way I wanted to live the rest of my life. And once I made that decision, Michael, it's like the whole world opened up. Doors opened up, one thing after another, as far as my journey, and it just is taken off on a totally different, in ways I could have never have imagined back then.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. So, tell me, what are some of the ways that you help clients who come to you and they're feeling stuck the way that you were stuck 15 years ago?
Well, first of all, to help them accept that that's okay, but the fact that they are there, they're ready and they're open for change. And I do something called a personal breakthrough experience, which is very known in NLP, which helps us first. The first thing, I always tell clients is, look, think about when you move in a house, you have an empty closet or an empty garage. And what happens over time? You start putting stuff in there, right? And then there's one day you just can't open that door anymore without everything. You just can't put anything else in there. So you have to clear out. You have to first start by clearing out what is in that closet before you can make space for more. And that's the same thing with a personal breakthrough. One of the things that we actually do is we do a deep clearing emotionally. And I call it like an emotional and a mental detox, because when you're finished with a breakthrough, you are so alive, but you're exhausted because energetically we've just done so much clearing. So clearing that debris, and that's really working at the subconscious level. A lot of times we want to make change. We don't know how. We know that we're repeating patterns. So with the NLP and the breakthrough session, we actually work with the conscious mind and the subconscious mind to make, long lasting change.
Speak to that a little bit, the dynamic between, the conscious mind, because, a lot of people will say, well, I keep telling myself not to do that. And they're mostly using that conscious internal dialogue, which, most of us, when we use the internal dialogue, we just kind of shame ourselves. because of, probably parental patterns from the past, right?
Yeah.
So what's the difference between like just telling yourself stop doing this thing versus working with the subconscious mind?
Yeah, so the subconscious mind, as I mentioned before, is really where where we've been programmed. It could be from our parents. It could be from experiences that we've had over and over. So it's like we unlock a key to the subconscious mind. We make the change there, and then it flourishes. So when you think about like the garden that I used in the book, you are getting to the deep root causes of what is causing you to say you want to do it but not act. So we're getting really deep, we're going to the root of the cause, we're clearing that out, so you have a clean slate, then a fresh start to begin and focus, whatever it is that you want to achieve.
Right. I love it. We talk about in NLP the difference between working on the fruits and the roots. Right. If you have a tree that produces fruits, a lot of times, that tree can get some disease, or it can get some roots, some worms. And a lot of times what people focus on is the fruits in their life. Oh, I've got some good fruits, but I got some bad fruits. And they just complain about the bad fruits. They don't do anything. But a lot of times, even when people come to an NLP practitioner, coach, psychotherapist, whatever, they're like, here's this fruit that I've got that's got worms in it. Can we work on this? And what most people don't realize is it's not a fruit issue. There's an issue at the roots.
That's right. That's right. We call them, there are things in our life that just show up as symptoms, right? They're symptoms, and we have to get down to the root cause. This is so fundamental in any work that we do in life, particularly when we're working with the mind, but in everything we do. Got a problem at work, you try and solve it from here, but you're not looking at the root cause, and you're solving the wrong problem.
Exactly. All right. So we are here promoting our brand new book, which dropped today, just a few hours ago. It's called Mastery of the Mind, The Pathway to Empowerment. And today is the beginning of our launch event. So we're doing our launch event today, May 4th, and tomorrow, May 5th. If you buy on either of those 2 days, and only those 2 days, then you will get over $1,000 in gifts from the authors. Each author, there are 19 of us in the book. We've all put together a phenomenal package of gifts. I'm giving away one of my courses for free. Some people are giving away guided meditations or hypnotherapy sessions. There are all kinds of wonderful gifts in there, too many to even mention. And so it's over $1,000 worth of value. Plus, on top of that, when you read the book, at the end of every chapter of the book is an additional gift that you will get in the bio of every author of the book. So here's how you get it. Go to www.masteryofthemindbook.com. I will show you exactly what that looks like right here. This is the website. Come here. You will be buying it through Amazon, so it's a trusted partner, but you got to go through the website to get the instructions on how to get the gifts. If you just buy it from Amazon, then you won't get the $1,000 worth of gifts. You get the chapter gifts, but not the launch gifts. So when you come here, you can learn a little bit about the book. You can read about the authors. Click this button. It'll take you to the page with the step-by-step instructions. All right, Joanne, are you ready? Let's check our current stats. Let's see where we are. We're still number one new release in neurolinguistic programming. Let's scroll down and see our details. We are now number 2 bestseller in neurolinguistic programming. We've still got ways to go, everybody. Please, if you haven't gotten your book yet, make sure you get it. It's a great book, just $6.15. We're going to hit number 1 there in neurolinguistic programming. We're number 11 in spiritual self-help. We're number 23 in motivational self-help. So we are officially 3-category bestsellers. And we're looking to be 3-category number 1 bestsellers. And this is the most exciting part for me, Joanne. Check this out. Number 523 out of 36 million books on Amazon. I think we may be able to get an NLP book to number 1 on all of Amazon today, but only with your help. So if you haven't gotten it yet, make sure that you get it. Thank you so much, Joanne. Really appreciate you for being here. And thanks for writing your chapter in the book. All right. Now I am bringing our next author, who is Courtney Gail, and we call him CJ. Courtney is a chief empowerment officer at New Level of Possible Coaching, and is certified life coach, speaker, and author who helps individuals find their why and develop empowering beliefs and habits. He's a veteran of the U.S. Marine Corps and Army National Guard. Courtney brings discipline and dedication to his coaching. With certifications in hypnotherapy, NLP, and Ikigai, I think I said that right. He offers a unique blend of expertise to help clients overcome obstacles and achieve fulfillment through self-discovery. Courtney facilitates transformational change using various techniques and believes in helping others. Now, Courtney's chapter covers the complex nature of fear and provides valuable insights. Anybody got fear, by the way? And provides valuable insights on how to transform fear into freedom. I love that. He explores the importance of understanding fear, cultivating courage, challenging limiting beliefs, embracing failure as a stepping stone to success, and practicing mindfulness and self-compassion. So, Courtney, what inspired you to write this chapter in Mastery of the Mind?
What inspired me most is actually a subject that you reached earlier. Since COVID-19, with the news stories and all of the coverage, it really has been a lot of fear has become mainstream, and people leverage fear to, in some ways, have control over people, and people aren't living the lives that they deserve to live. Joy is our birthright. And I think over the last few years, that may have been hidden. I think there's a few clouds. The sun is always there, but at times, sometimes the clouds can fool you into thinking that there's not light right behind there. And moving forward, you have to have a healthy relationship with fear. Fear actually serves you. Things don't happen to you, they happen for you. And the day that you realize that and you can find the lesson in circumstance and happenstance, that's the day that you get to be free.
I love that. Fear actually serves you. That is not something that most people would even entertain as a thought. In your chapter, you recount your first time skydiving. And, you know, I often hear people say things like, and they think they're being witty when they say it, right? I'm not jumping out of a perfectly good plane, right? They think they're being clever. But to me, they're really exposing their mindset. What is it that you think makes people shy away from not just scary experiences, but experiences in their life? What does it mean that you think makes people shy away from those?
Well, you should have concerns. So you should look both ways before you cross a busy street.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, with each concern, you should be able to sit and admire the concern and embrace it and say, why is this here? How does it serve me? And it may mean I need to gather some tools or skills before I attempt this. It typically is a signal to show you that you can do this, but you need to place some attention or focus here to get to where you're trying to go. And that's what having a healthy relationship with fear is. If fear is really meant to keep you safe, it's not meant to control you. And when you have a healthy relationship with fear, that's when it serves you.
You know, it's interesting. It's kind of a little bit of a tangent on this, but you know, I often wonder where fear comes from. Why do people have so many fears? People are riddled with fears about everything that they do. And, you know, then I go back to parenting. Look at how, especially, and usually the mother is the worrywart, right? She's the one that says, get down off of there or you'll break your neck, right? It's like, if I climb something, I will have a broken neck, right? And we immediately tie these actions, which can have many possible outcomes, to the worst possible thing that could happen. And in our society, I feel like there's this correlation between, if I love someone, I worry for them, right? Yeah. We have a family member who every time we say goodbye, the last thing she says is drive safe. And I say, I always do, right? I have to, but in her mind, it's like, there's this fear of like, I have to tell you to drive safe so that you don't do something dangerous, you know? And what do you think that, like, how do we break that tie of I have to worry about somebody to love them and even express that worry to them? Because especially kids, we internalize that as a thinking pattern.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what I like to use as a metaphor for my clients is, we all have two houses. Mm-hmm. We have where our faith lives, what we know, and then we have our fear, what could happen, negative possibility, things that could happen. And typically in life, you live in one house and you visit the other. And more people are living in their fear house and every now and then visiting their faith house, their knowing house. And it should be the other way around. You should live in knowing. And every now and then it's okay to visit fear, because on opposite of fear, you typically learn something or grow. If you're living a life where you don't experience fear, then you're probably not accomplishing a whole lot.
Yeah, that's probably true for most people. Yeah. It's and I love that that notion of, which house are you going to live in? That's a great metaphor. So one of the things that you talk about in your book that I think is so important, that I did not practice for most of my life, at least the first half of my life, is self-compassion. So I think a lot of people watching here right now were, raised in generations where our parents shamed us to change our behavior. If you came home with an A-, why didn't you get an A? You're smarter than that. You're better than that. You need to try harder. You're not working hard enough, And it was like, no, I feel this expressed by so many people of our generations, particularly. And how is self-compassion a better strategy than self-shame?
Until you learn to love yourself, you're incapable of loving anyone. And typically in life, really, there's only really two emotions. You're either trying to walk towards love or you're trying to walk away from pain. And until you truly know who you are and what brings you joy, you'll never have it. And we've been often in life now, we focus on what other people think about us. And to tie back into the story, people who love me did not want me to go skydiving. They did not want me to go because they had concern for me. And on some level, I wanted to listen to them, but it was something inside, a calling, that I knew I had to do it. And the whole time I could feel a little voice tugging. It was the voice of all the people that I've met who would never do it. And it was a life-changing event that I almost did not go to. And when I finally did get my feet on the ground and I looked up at the sky, and you have a new relationship with the sky once you go skydiving.
Yeah.
I look back at it was almost like watching a movie of my life. And I started wondering, how many moments did I give into the voices of others instead of listening to the voice inside, intuition, being my authentic self. And that's ultimately when you value more of what others think than what you know for yourself. It's self-betrayal. And self-betrayal is the deepest, it's the most harmful thing you can do to yourself. And the day that you embrace yourself, which I know it's cliche when people say when you fly, there's a reason why they tell you to put your mask on first so that you can assist others. It's the same with love. Until you love yourself, you really can't truly love others.
That's beautiful. Kayla and I, incidentally, we went skydiving on our 1 week anniversary, 7 days after we met. And it's definitely one of the peak experiences, number 2, number 3 experience in my life, probably. Just absolutely. And you're right. It changes your relationship with the sky and how you see the world. Something quite amazing. So this is a personal question. Looking ahead for you, what's the next big fear or challenge that you'd like to conquer in your life? And how do you plan to apply the lessons you learned from skydiving in this new endeavor?
The biggest fear that I have now is, well, let me preface it with, I'm at an age now where I have more yesterdays behind me than I have tomorrows in front of me. And I'm okay with that. I'm not fearful about that. But this is the time where you come laser focused on, what do you want your legacy to be? What do you want your earthly experience, your life experience to be about? And that's what Ikigai is about. It's about living your purpose. And when Joanne was speaking about your purpose, this book was part of what I'd like to be my legacy. I'd like to know that I left a little piece of something for someone who may have fear, or who may want to go skydiving, or who may have a cliff they want to, jump off of, or may want to do something, and they're looking for encouragement. Because sometimes you don't have your own encouragement, so you have to lean on others. There's been a few times in my life where someone had faith in me till I found my own faith. And that's what I hope being part of this group, and it's an amazing group, with you, with Kayla, and the other 18 or 19 authors. It really is a love story from people who all of us have dedicated our lives to service to people who may need to be served. And like I said, we're kind of talked about world affairs. And if there's any time where people need encouragement, it's today. And I wanted to be a part of it. And that's why I'm so thankful to be part of this project with my colleagues, with you, with Kayla. Like, I can't put into words how grateful I am that this will now be part of my legacy. And when I see the sales, I'm not happy about sales happening. I'm happy because I know that people are going to get something out of this book.
Absolutely. And the reviews are already starting to come in on Amazon. We had a few people who we gave early access to it. And I think we have 12 or 13 reviews now. And they're saying the same thing, right? This book has already changed my life. I'm putting these things into practice. And it's amazing. You know, Steve Jobs, who, you know, arguably is one of the most successful people of the 20th century. Somebody asked him back in 1982 or 1983, what's your goal? You want to be a billionaire? You know? And he said, no, my goal is to leave an indelible mark on the earth that said that Steve Jobs was here. And I think he did that, whether you like him or dislike him, right? There is an indelible mark on the earth that is different because Steve Jobs was here. And I think we have made an indelible mark on the earth with our book, Mastery of the Mind. Yeah. And in your contribution to this book, which is chapter 16, called Transforming Fear into Freedom. So we are here today because we are promoting our new book, which dropped today. Is called Mastery of the Mind, The Pathway to Empowerment. The book launch is starting today and tomorrow, May 4th and May 5th. If you support us by buying the book on May 4th or May 5th, then we have over $1,000 in gifts that myself and all of the co-authors have put together. These are gifts of real world value, by the way. It's not like here's a 5-page PDF. You know, it's like these are really, I'm giving away an entire course that I normally charge, over $100 for. And so the way that you do that is to go to masteryofthemindbook.com. When you go there, you will see this page right here. Nope, not that page. You will see, and wouldn't you know, my keyboard decides to stop working. And the way to fix the keyboard, by the way, is to drop it hard on the desk. That's the way it works. There we go. This is what you're going to see when you go there is this website, Mastery of the Mind. You can read a little bit about the book. You can read about the authors. You can click this button that says get the book right now. And it's going to walk you through a simple 3-step process to get the book. You'll buy it from Amazon, but there are 2 steps to do after that. And a simple 3-step process where you're going to get over $1,000 in gifts. All right, Courtney, you ready to check our stats?
I am.
Here we go. All right. We are currently number 2 in NLP, number 11 in spirituality, number 23 in motivational self-help, and number 523 of all books on Amazon. We are nearing the bestseller list on Amazon, which is amazing and a wonderful experience. And so we have a long way to go. So if you have not gotten your book yet, Mastery of the Mind, please head on over to masteryofthemindbook.com and you can get it there. Thank you so much, Courtney, CJ. I really appreciate you for being here and for writing your chapter. Thank you for leaving an indelible mark in the book and on the earth.
Thanks.
All right. Now, I am excited to bring our next author on, who is Dean Asol. Dean, how you doing?
Good, Michael. How are you?
I'm doing great. It'd be better if my keyboard was working, but I'm doing great. All right. So Dean is the president of the Puresome Group. He's a highly accomplished professional with over 25 years of experience in business, strategy, marketing, and leadership. With a bachelor's degree from DePaul University and certifications in NLP, hypnotherapy, time techniques, EFT, and life and success coaching, he specializes in helping startup founders, Fortune 500 leaders, and CXOs develop growth strategies, increase revenues, and create customer-centric product roadmaps. Dean's dedication to excellence has earned him numerous awards, including honorary membership in the Delta Mu Delta Honor Society, and he serves as a trusted advisor and mentor to business professionals. So Dean's chapter explores the power of the mind and how our thoughts shape our reality. Through personal anecdotes and practical examples, he demonstrates how controlling our thoughts, refusing negative labels, and viewing challenges as opportunities for growth can lead to a fulfilling and meaningful life. So, Dean, tell us what inspired you to write this chapter.
Sure, Michael. Thanks for that introduction. The reason why I'm very passionate about this specific topic is the most impactful and powerful things in life are typically the most simple things. And in my journey today, I'm an executive, but this is not where I started. And there's a lot of nuggets of wisdom that I've learned along the way that I wanted to share with everybody. For example, when I started my career, I was working at McDonald's, then Taco Bell, then delivering pizzas for Papa John's, and then working service jobs. I had 2 jobs throughout college. And what happens is when you do service jobs, you really understand human relationships and the human dynamics. And fast forward to today, I'm very grateful and blessed to be a successful executive in corporate America and a business coach. And there's some things that I've learned along the way that I really am passionate about. And that's what I wanted to share in this chapter. For example, some of the most important things in life is your focus, right? Most of everyone that I've ever spoken to, and I ask them, what do you want in life? They typically will list a number of things that they don't want, but less than 5% of the people actually know what they want. So if you don't know what outcome you're trying to achieve, how will you achieve it? So again, very similar to this, there's other nuggets that I wanted to share with everybody, which is what motivated me to write this chapter.
I love it. So one of the practical tips that you give in the chapter is, which I love, is to avoid labeling yourself and others. It often seems like our society, our relationships, our lives are mired in labels. So why is it so important to shed labels?
Thank you for bringing that up. That is actually unbelievably dangerous. You probably know somebody, or you may be the recipient of a label yourself, right? Anybody that might be different is labeled, whether it's lazy, ADHD, and these labels, people that accept them, it gives them permission to live their life within the limitations of that box. What they think, how they behave, the results that they get in life is typically driven by that label. And in a lot of cultures in the world, it's very acceptable, especially with children, to label them. And I was a recipient of that label. And what I realized later in life is that that was actually my superpower, right? I was not satisfied with what I had. I was ambitious. And that was, that's how I was labeled. And in actuality, it was my superpower that has really propelled me in my life. So my guidance to the readers of the book and anyone that's listening to this is, if you see anyone being labeled, or stop it, stop others, stop yourself, because it's one of the most dangerous things that we can do for anyone. Because again, it just limits what they can do in life. And I was lucky enough to have mentors that made a profound difference in my life, and experiences that have really shaped me. But a lot of people don't have that opportunities. So that's why labels are very important for me.
Yeah, I as a teenager, I adopted or was assigned certain labels, and I think in many ways those labels were the things that created that outcome. It wasn't, very often, a child will do something, maybe do something mindlessly, whatever, and then if that child gets labeled as, oh, he's rambunctious, right? And they hear that labeled over and over again, even if they weren't rambunctious, maybe they just did something rambunctious, but they weren't a rambunctious person. Now we begin to live into that label. I know for me, one of the labels that I got, especially from my teachers in high school, was troublemaker. And I ended up making more and more trouble. So that is definitely a challenge, I think, that a lot of us have to overcome. And, adopting an abundance mindset is something that you talk about in the book. It's a key theme in your chapter. So what practices or techniques have you found effective in cultivating an abundance mindset, especially during times of uncertainty or adversity, as many people feel like we're in right now?
Sure. Again, the most profound things sometimes are the most simple things. The stories that we tell ourselves can be very dangerous or can be very empowering. For example, I'll give you 3 examples maybe. Um, Anybody that's starting their career, typically the story that a lot of people know or tell themselves is that the more time you spend, the more visibility you have in front of your bosses or other people, the more successful you will be. Well, that's one story. Another story could be, well, maybe I focus on the things that will actually move the needle in the company, whether it's a strategic goal, whether it's revenue, whether it's changing, whether it's reputation. So focusing not on time spent, but moving the needle, I can guarantee you that will change the trajectory of your life. Now, in business, another frame is, and again, I believe this is so disempowering. The fact that everybody thinks that there's a lack in this world, right? Just look at nature. There's abundance everywhere, right? And businesses that typically focus on their competitors, what are they doing? And they're just laser focused on that. You know, that's really, really disempowering, because there's a lot of different type of people, a lot of different type of customers. So if a business was to focus on what they are very good at, what differentiates them, and put a lot of energy behind that rather than focus on what the competitor is doing, it changes the trajectory of the business. So again, just there's no lack. On a personal front, another reframe that has really helped me is, when I get really uncomfortable, that means that I'm growing, right? So if I'm uncomfortable taking a course and work is happening at the same time, and then there's something that's happening in the house, or there's an away game for my son, that's a good thing because that means that I'm growing. So, and this is one of the mantras that I've had in life, that if I'm not uncomfortable, I feel like I'm not doing enough. So again, it's just a frame, what you tell yourself. Another one that has really helped me, this is a kind of a quirky one, is, I lived in Orange County and I used to travel to LA once or twice a week, which is a horrible drive. Yeah. And
I can vouch for that.
we're going to Santa Monica, not fun. And now I live in Chicago. So same thing, if I ever have to go downtown, it's a pretty long drive. And there's a few things that you can do. You can sit in traffic and be totally frustrated, right? And be pissed. Or you can reframe that and think of a challenge that you're trying to solve, or an opportunity that you're trying to take advantage of. Put a podcast on, put an ebook on, like listen to an audiobook. Try to figure out the problem before you get to your destination. Now you're racing against time to figure out this problem or listen to all this content before you get to your destination. And it changes the nature of that wait in traffic. So again, just reframes will change how you see things. And I think that's really, really important.
I love it. About year and a half ago, maybe a little bit more than that, I committed to walking every day. And one of the things that I did was, instead of just listening to music, I started buying Audible books. And, I've become so addicted to those Audible books that even on days where physically I do not feel like getting out and walking, right? That is my problem solving time. That's my growth time. It's my learning time. And it's like, I'm not giving up that, hour and 21 minutes of listening to the book today. I'm going to go walk because I know I won't listen to the book if I don't walk, so it's a great idea to kind of link those things together. And similarly, when I lived in Orange County and was driving around Orange County in LA, I used to listen to audio books back then. That was always growth time rather than listening to news or whatever else. So in your chapter, you share a story of something that very, very few people I would guess less than 1% of people in the world has ever done, which is summiting Mount Kilimanjaro. So what's the feeling? Because here's the thing, right? Most people, when they think about accomplishing anything in their life, the first thing they think about is the obstacles and the pain that it's going to cause. I would imagine summiting Mount Kilimanjaro, there are a ton of obstacles and a lot of pain. Right. There's a reason why a person goes to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro. And I think that maybe what that reason is, maybe something that's missing in a lot of people's lives that they need to get in touch with. The reason why most people don't try to accomplish things in their life. So what does it take to want to get to a place that fewer than 1% of people on the earth have ever touched?
That's a great question. Some of the learnings that I have from Mount Kilimanjaro. So just to back up a little bit, just to give some context. So I have two brothers, one elder, one younger, and we try to do one challenging thing a year. And one of the years was Mount Kilimanjaro. We try to do a couple of 14,000 14ers a year. We're going to Mexico this year. But Mount Kilimanjaro was specifically hard because it was a 7-day trek, and you go through 3 to 4 different terrains, and you're climbing to 19,341, I believe. So it's pretty high. And the one thing that I will say is, you're in the moment. You're really in the moment. And when you're out in the moment in nature, where everything else seems so small, so irrelevant, it changes your mindset. It really does. It changes your mindset, and you really understand how small you are within the bigger tapestry of life. And that's what I absolutely love doing whenever I go out in nature for these extreme hikes, is you cut and disconnect from technology. You disconnect from what's happened in the past. You disconnect from what's going to happen in the future, and you're truly living in the moment. And Michael, I have to tell you that living in the moment, you don't have a lot of luxuries when you're climbing for 7 days nonstop, right? You're camping at night. There's no real bathrooms, right? And you're carrying your food with you, but it's not comfortable in any way. But you get a supercharge to your mindset, because the only thing that you're thinking about is you're going inwards. You're going inwards. Yeah. There's nothing outside. You're going inwards, because when you're tracking for 6 to 8 hours a day, and you're going like this on an incline, you're not focused on the outside. You're focused on the inside. And that's where real growth happens. That's where the serendipities actually start happening. And so for me, it was very profound. Just disconnecting from everything and living in the moment. It just changed my life.
A spiritual experience, I would imagine.
Very, very spiritual.
Yeah.
Because again, something specific about Mount Kili. When you go past about 16,000 feet, it looks like the surface of Mars. You're not even on this Earth anymore. Wow. You're way above the clouds. So it's just it's a phenomenal experience, and it really brings the most important things home for you. Like for example, we spend so much of our life thinking about what happened in the past and what might happen in the future that we forget about the most important things around us, which are our loved ones, right? Every moment that we have with them. And believe it or not, when we disconnect from the past and the future, these inspirations will come to you that do not come to you otherwise, because we like to control everything, right? When you let go of that control, the mountain is in control, right? You're just doing one step after the next step. So again, it was just a phenomenal journey. I absolutely loved it.
I love it. That's amazing. Well, we are here today promoting our brand new book, which is called Mastery of the Mind. And Dean is a co-author in this book. As a matter of fact, Dean is chapter number 7, Shaping Reality Through Thoughts. And our book launch event started today. The book just dropped a few hours ago. So today and tomorrow, May 4th and May 5th, is our book launch event. If you support us during the book launch, which means buying it today or tomorrow, then you will get $1,000 in gifts provided by the authors. We have all put together special gifts only for people who support us during the launch. There's also, by the way, 19 gifts in the book. So it's really close to $2,000 worth of gifts that you're going to get when you get the book today or tomorrow. And that is going to help us get this in as many hands as possible to change as many lives as possible, which you can do at www.masteryofthemindbook.com. And it's also, hopefully, today going to help us achieve best-selling author. All right, Dean, are you ready to check our stats? Every 15 minutes, right? Until we reach number 1 on Amazon. Here we go. Drum roll, please. All right, here's the website, by the way. When you go to masteryofthemind.com, you're going to come to this website. You can read a little bit about the book, a little bit about the authors. Click this button. You can get the book for just $6.15. It will lead you over to Amazon, but make sure you get it through this website, because there are special instructions you have to follow in order to get the gifts. All right, drum roll, please. Here we go. Checking our stats. We are at number 2. We haven't moved in 15 minutes. So number 2 in NLP, number 11 in spiritual, number 23 in motivational self-help, and we're overall number 523 in all books on Amazon. So thank you so much, Dean, for hanging out with me here. Thank you so much for contributing your chapter. Appreciate it.
Thank you. It was an honor. Thank you, Michael.
All right. Thank you. All right. And I am excited to bring on our next author, who is Rahila Ali, Chapter 8, Empower Your Essence. Welcome, Rahila.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Rahila is a wellness coach with over 8 years of experience in the health and wellness industry. She's a graduate of the Body Mind Institute and a certified raw nutritionist. A nutritionist. I always say that word wrong. She also holds certifications in NLP, hypnotherapy, EFT, success, and life coaching from Transform Destiny. Rahila empowers clients to shift their mindset and achieve their wellness goals through a holistic approach. Recognized as a top coach in Chicago, she's been featured in various media outlets for her impactful work and is dedicated to making a positive difference in her clients' lives. Now, in Rahila's chapter, she shares her transformative journey of battling life-threatening illness and discovering the power of mindset in her recovery. Diagnosed with a limited time to live, Rahila grappled with the impact of her family, especially her children. And her turning point was when she realized the profound impact of mastering her mind on her physical well-being. So Rahila, tell us a little bit about that and what inspired you to write this chapter.
Well, it was basically my story, and I wanted others to also feel empowered and not, being hopeless when they're given a timeline like I was, and that's the main purpose. I wanted to spread the word.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that story. It was 14 years ago, right?
Yeah, okay.
And you were a happy mother of 2 young children, and you were given a prognosis of only 1.5 years to live. Talk about that.
So, okay. So I was given 1.5 years to live, and my son was 18 months. My daughter was 3. Ooh. And I was, like, we all like grew up, you have to listen to the doctors. You have to just, take the medication. I was doing everything right. I was being the good girl, and doing everything. But every single day I could see the decline, I, at one point, and we were in California at that time. So I was driving to pick up my husband to LAX, and all I could see was like this much, I had that tunnel vision, and I'm like, okay, I would like 5 more minutes and then I will pull over. But I mean, it was an hour drive. So I don't know how I made it. I handed the thing to my husband, the driving seat, and I'm like, whoa. And then I realized, I'm like, why couldn't I see, And then a couple of days later, I was just sitting listening to a YouTube video, and I couldn't understand anything. And I'm like, I told my kids to just be quiet. And I'm like, okay, nobody's talking. And I'm like listening to this thing, and I don't understand. And it just like blew a lid inside my mind. Like, I cannot hear. You know what I mean? It's just like, you're like, whoa. And just I got up and I looked at the side effects of the medication, and there was like, hearing loss, muscle loss, bone loss, everything was in there. Eyesight, like vision loss, and like every kind of loss you can possibly imagine. And I'm like, okay, what's happening? If I keep going down this spiral, it's not going to be good. And then obviously, I would look at my kids, they were like really young. My daughter had to, get up, and I would tell her to grab like sandwich, make a sandwich for herself and her brother, grab like bread from the fridge, cheese, put it in a plate, grab a chair, put it in the microwave. And she would like time it, give it, she was like being a mother to my 18 months old. And I mean, I was just laying literally almost dead on the couch. Just like I could like see them. I couldn't get up and do anything. And I was like, this is not what I want for my children, I mean, if I'm gone, who's going to take care of them like a mother would? So that just like, ignited a fire within me, and I wanted to change something. And we grew up, hearing this quote by Prophet Muhammad that every disease has a cure except for old age and death. And then I started praying to God, like, if there's a cure, I need to know. And if I find the cure, I will help others heal. And that started my journey to look for something different other than, just like taking medication and just dying, So that was the turning point.
So you mentioned in your chapter that part of that turning point was refusing to accept the identity of a sick person.
Yep.
Share about that.
Yeah. So I started like, researching, and I found out like some few therapies, and I started like cleansing my diet basically at that point. And it did help. It started helping, but then there were times that I would like go up and down. I had like good days and bad days, and like some of the bad days were horrible. And at that point I would be like, okay, I'm doing everything right, everything I'm supposed to be doing, I cleansed my diet, but I didn't cleanse my mindset. And I had to go deeper, like within the layers of the mind. And at that point, I didn't know NLP. I wish I knew. But at that point, I just thought to myself, because this is like a backstory, I have been meditating when I was a teenager. I had this teacher, who told me, oh, this is how you manifest things. And that just clicked, in my mind, like, okay, so I am saying that I'm sick. My illness, my labels, my lupus, my ITP, my whatever, like my vertigo, all those things. I was saying I was associating with my identity, myself, like, oh, I thought to myself, they're not mine anymore. I am not going to use them. I'm going to actually change them. I am a healthy person. I am whole. I'm complete. Because when you label yourself as sick, you feel like, something's missing and you're at dis-ease, but then it's just like kind of like you feel a lack of health, right? So it's just like I had to, reverse all of that, like the mindset from like sick to being healthy and being in that healthy body and embracing it. And that actually what caused the major shift, like completely transformed my life.
That's amazing. And, I wish more people, one of the things we talk about in NLP so often is being a cause. And I've had people come to me and they say, so what, are you saying I'm a cause for my cancer? Like I'm a bad person for saying that, right? And like, that's a horrible, and I look back at people and my response to that is, if I went to the doctor and I was told I'd had cancer, the best possible news that I could possibly hear from that doctor is, and you're at cause for it, right? And this is something that I think of all the things that people have lost cause for in the world, and there are a lot of things, I think health is the number one. And I think it's the reason why we have such an epidemic of unhealthiness in the world, is because people are not being at cause for their health.
100%. And this is like so profound. Like I always thought, like when I was trying to look for root cause, like, oh, how am I at cause after learning NLP? And I recently found out, and it just blew my mind that on a subconscious level, and this is like years ago when I was, birthing my kids, actually. I was in the hospital bed. I was laying down, and I remember this nurse came. She was so super nice, so nurturing. She gave me a warm blanket. I was super cold. And she was just like, oh, do you need anything, Rahila? She made me like super comfortable. I just wanted to be around her. And I was like, oh my God, this is so nice, laying down in the bed. And I was like a young mother, like chasing a toddler and then, like being pregnant at the same time. Being in the hospital was very relaxing and not worrying about things and responsibilities, and you getting to rest. And I was like, oh my God, I love this. And that thought, I don't know, at a subconscious level planted a seed, I guess, And now I'm like, I'm being at cause. And this is like, it just like hard to accept that, oh my God, that is that where it started? Is that where I wished for? Oh my God, I love being in a hospital bed. Just like imagine, the power of a subconscious mind, and thinking obviously I cried. I'm like, what? But I'm so glad I found the root cause through NLP, and it's just mind blowing. Then if we can create something like this, out of a thought, what else can we create, right?
Right. I love it. So one of the things you talk about in the chapter, which it was particularly emotional for me, you mentioned the profound impact of watching your children take on adult responsibilities at such a young age. So how has your experience with illness and then finding wellness, how has that influenced your approach to parenting?
It's I mean, you're going to make me cry. It's just whatever I experience now, like I'm so grateful and thankful. I see, I get to see my kids grow up, and they're in high school right now. And I mean, obviously, when we adopted the healthy lifestyle, me and my husband, our kids were eating healthy, and my family started eating healthy. So it's not just like me, that was affected by this like reversal of everything. And it's not just like food, it's the entire lifestyle. You started living clean, and then your family started doing it, and then this whole community that follows it. It's just great. And then obviously there was a mindset shift too. So my entire family is into like meditation, NLP, all these things, self-development. So I just love it. And like obviously taking care of their bodies at the same time too. But when it comes to the kids, I'm like, from not knowing that how long I'm gonna like see them, to see them grow, it's just amazing. The other day my son came and like he shaved for the first time, and he was there, and like it was just, I was like so happy to see him grow into a man, so I'm just grateful every single day.
I love it. They always say tomorrow is not promised.
Yep.
And I think that's a great analogy. Tomorrow is not promised. You have to earn tomorrow. I believe every day, and even if you don't have to earn tomorrow, you appreciate life a lot better when you do.
Yeah. Anything can happen. And every single day I wake up, first thing I do is I'm like so grateful for being alive, for being safe, for, like having food, for having shelter, for my kids, for my family to be around, and to like, I just love every moment of life. Everything is just like a gift for me now.
What a gift. I love it. All right. So we are here promoting our brand new book, NLP book, Mastery of the Mind. Rahila is one of the co-authors of the book. As a matter of fact, she co-authored chapter number 8, Empower Your Essence. So our launch started today. May 4th and May 5th are the launch dates. If you support us during the launch, during May 4th and May 5th, and you buy the book, it's only $6.15. Then you are going to get $1,000 in launch gifts from the authors. We've each put together a special gift for people who support us on these 2 days only. And there's also another gift at the end of every chapter. So it's really like getting $2,000 worth of gifts for $6.15. We have things like courses in there. I'm giving away one of my courses. There are courses that are given away. There are video trainings. There are ebooks. There are guided meditations, all kinds of great gifts in there. The way that you get it is to go to www.masteryofthemindbook.com. When you go there, you're going to see, not that page, I keep leaving that page up. You're going to see this page right here. You definitely want to make sure you go through the Mastery of the Mind website, because that's how you get the $1,000 worth of gifts. You can read about the book. You can read a little bit about the authors, and then click this button to get the book, and we will give you instructions on how to get it. You'll get it from Amazon, but you have to follow the instructions to get the gifts. All right, Rahila, are you ready?
Yes.
Here we go. Refresh. We just keep refreshing. I get like my refresh fingers are getting worn out today. Here we go. We are currently number 523 of all books in Amazon, number 2 in NLP, number 11 in spiritual self-help, and number 23 in motivational self-help. Hey, if you got a copy of the book already, if you've ordered it on Amazon, drop a comment. I would love to hear if you got it. And if you haven't gotten it yet, what the heck? Get over there and get it. It is worth every penny of $6.15 for this wonderful book, but then you get almost $2,000 worth of gifts. In addition to that. So Rahila, thank you so much for contributing to the book, an amazing chapter, a very touching chapter, an emotional chapter, and for being here with me today.
Thank you, Michael. It was an honor, co-authoring with you and the other authors. I'm looking forward to, the status too.
Yay. All right. We'll keep hitting that refresh button. Mm-hmm. All right. And I am excited now for our next author, who is Ronald Lance. Ron has a very interesting career I've always been fascinated with. Ron is a retired U.S. Marine Corps veteran. He's a master hypnotherapist who graduated from Transform Destiny. So he's the best. With years of experience helping single and divorced individuals. Ron combines discipline, integrity, and compassion to guide clients toward positive change, personal empowerment, and healing from past traumas. His dedication to his clients' well-being has established him as a trusted, respected expert in the industry. And so, Ron is by title, by trade, a divorce attorney, but he is a hypnotherapist divorce attorney and helps people turn what some people might think is the worst thing in their life into one of the best things in their life. So in his chapter, The Power of Letting Go, Ron explores the emotional challenges that often follow the end of a relationship or divorce. He reveals how hypnosis can be a transformative solution, helping people let go of grief and negative emotions. Through his insights and practical advice, Ron empowers readers to take control of their lives, embrace a brighter future, and to create the life they truly desire. So, Ron, tell me, what inspired you to become a hypnotizing divorce attorney, and what inspired you to write this chapter?
Well, I've been divorcing people since I retired out of the Marine Corps. And I've helped them with their legal issues. I make them single so this way they can go and create a better future for themselves. But I noticed that a lot of people were having grief. They were having a difficult time emotionally getting over the past traumas. Infidelity, they still had hope that the relationship would go on, and they just kept holding on to the past. On top of that, all their family and friends were telling them just move on. As in the book I mentioned, it doesn't help that every time you turn on the radio, you're hearing all these breakup songs, and it just drives you even more into depression. So what I did was I decided, let me find a way not just to help them legally, but literally help them emotionally. And I started looking for a way to help them. Went through a couple of different courses, found Transform Destiny, found a home, and I've been studying, and it actually turned around and taught me everything that I needed to know so I can start helping my clients. So now I tell them the divorce is over through hypnosis, hypnotherapy, coaching. I show them a better future. The past is gone. Now let's create a better future for you. Let's get rid of all the negative emotions. Let's start dealing with creating an outcome. Let's start looking at all the things you couldn't do while you were married. Let's start doing them now. Or when you broke up with a relationship, let's start moving you towards a better future. Let's build that future together and get you to beyond the negative emotions. It's been an interesting challenge, but it's been fun.
I love it. Years ago, when I was still a software developer in my software company, I got interviewed by Computer User Magazine, I think it was, and they said, we're interviewing you because you have a unique hook. You are a computer programmer who hypnotizes people. And I got to say, you have one of the best hooks of any divorce attorney I've ever heard, right?
It's kind of funny because I started researching that. Mm-hmm. And everywhere I look, I think I'm the only person in the country who does this.
I think you are too.
I haven't found anybody else who does this. But it makes sense because, the legal part's over. You're done. You're single. You're divorced.
Right.
However, the emotions are still there. So you really haven't done your job. Like in the Marine Corps, the mission isn't accomplished yet. There's still more to do, but nobody does it. When I started researching, I'm like, I'm the only one that helps them get literally not only the divorce, but the emotions, and then move on to create a better future, smiling. They can move on. And they turn around and start building a better future, and they start laughing. They're like, I wouldn't have done this if you not helped me. I would still be in that grieving stage. And I said, yeah, that's what we do.
I love it. And, the thing is, I think the primary linchpin in grief is that people don't seem to realize that the ending of a chapter, if the story's not over, the ending of a chapter implies that there's a new chapter.
Exactly.
And people are focused on the last page instead of the next page.
Exactly. And there's a lot of people do that. And a lot of people, like I said, they have the emotions and they're just, oh, I can't let go. Oh my God, I keep thinking about that. And I said, it's called a trigger. We just got to get you past all that so you can see the next chapter. You can see the new future, the future you can build for yourself.
Yeah. I loved it. Donna Cox said, great chapter, Ron. I wanted to call you for a session right after I read it. Beautiful. So, I often talk about with my clients something I call flipping the internal switch. For example, someone says, I can't move on until ... I have that conversation with them. I get an apology from them. I tell them off. They give me back my jacket, whatever it is, right? Or something outside of themselves. And most people don't realize that moving on is actually internal, right? They don't need that external thing to be free, but they've assigned responsibility to the external thing. So how does hypnotherapy help people flip that internal switch?
Well, that's actually very true, because I've had so many people come up to me and they're like, well, they still have my whatever. And I'm like, you know what? That doesn't matter. The problem is not the item. The problem is internal. You have to go basically just say, you have to let go. You just have to okay, great. Let's minimize the grief. Let's turn on and minimize the negative emotions. Let's try to put you on a track to a better life, to happiness. Okay. That's internal. That has nothing to do with the jacket. That has nothing to do with, he kept my stereo, my CD collection. That has nothing to do with it. You can replace all that stuff.
Right.
But emotionally, you need to go and start working on letting go of the past so you can create a new future. You cannot create a new future as long as you're still living in the past. It just won't happen. Because if you do try to do that, what they tend to do is take years to recover from it.
Yeah. And that's the thing, I have a phrase that I have been saying for years, which is, we all say the same thing when something bad happens. 10 years from now, we're going to look back on this and laugh. So my answer is, why wait 10 years? Why not laugh now? Why not incorporate the learnings now?
Yeah, I have clients that I've helped with NLP, with hypnosis stuff, and they're like, thank God you did this, because you know what? I would still be living in the past had it not been for you. I could see where I would never have recovered. I would still be living there, as opposed to everything I've accomplished since then. And I'm like, yes, that's exactly what we do.
I love it. And it's truly healing, right? That is,
it is.
And that's not a word that most people would use in the same word as attorney, which I love. So here's the thing, how we feel about something is largely due to perception. This is one of our primary things in NLP. Perception is projection, right?
Yeah.
Some people grieve a divorce while other people celebrate it, right? There are some people who lock themselves away, they grieve, and other people throw their divorce party, right? And they celebrate. Neither one's inherently wrong, but one feels a whole lot better.
True.
So one of the things you talk about is taking action to pursue the things that you may have been prevented from doing in your previous relationship. Speak to that a bit and how that helps people create a new chapter.
Well, I find a lot of my clients, what they'll do is say, well, when I was married, my spouse prevented me from getting another education, hanging out with my friends, hanging out with my family, because that's their support group, and they want to eliminate them from their support group. Okay. So when I go and talk to my clients and I hypnotize them, we do hypnotherapy, NLP, I turn around and talk to them and I say, okay, great. The first thing you need to do is everything you were prevented from doing, you got to get it out of the way. So if you couldn't hang out with your friends, hang out with your friends. You couldn't visit your family, now it's time to go visit the family. Get all that out. Once you've gone through all that, great. Now that all that's out of your system, now let's create a future. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Dream big. Where do you see yourself? What do you want to do? Let's start working towards that.
I love it. This is the first time in my life that I've ever been in a relationship where I'm not at effect of someone else. But here's the funny thing is that, we hear this all the time being in the self-development where, oh, my husband won't let me sign up. My wife won't let me go on a trip. And there's constantly, it's this pointing of the finger. And I personally believe your intimate relationship should be the most empowering relationship in your life, more empowering than any other. I feel like whoever you're married to or in a long-term relationship with should believe in you more than anybody else on the planet believes in you. That's part of having souls that are intertwined together and being this way. But so many people are constantly living at effect of their spouse.
I have clients that I come in when they come into my office, and I tell them, I said, if you're single, your life is going like this. You're fine. I said, when you get into a relationship, it should enhance your life. It shouldn't hinder it. If you're going like this and your life is now worse, you're in the wrong relationship. Yeah. It should enhance your life. You should be like, my life was good when I was single, but now that I'm in a relationship, oh my God, it's even better. Yeah. Because if it's not better, then why are you in it?
Absolutely. And I very often call Kayla my muse. And similarly with my son, Jonathan, Kayla is my reason for being a better man every single day. I want to grow every day. I want to do better every day because of her. And I think that's how it should be. And if it isn't, maybe it's time to call Ron. So, what would you say? There are a lot of people in the world, I think, who are skeptical about this, the H word, the boogie word, hypnosis. What would you say to encourage them to give it a try, even if they're not getting divorced, even if they have no plans for divorce, even if they're single? There are a lot of people out there that don't realize that hypnosis can be a very powerful thing.
It can be extremely powerful. One of the things that I tell people all the time is whenever they come in, they say, hypnosis doesn't work. And I was like, really? I said, well, let me ask you something. I said, what are some of the things you believe in? They're limiting beliefs. Okay. I can't do this. I can't do that. I said, it's a limiting belief. I said that if you keep convincing yourself, it's going to come true. Okay. Yeah. So hypnosis can get rid of all that. Hypnosis can turn around and create a better person. Okay. It can get rid of all the negative things that you've grown up, you believe in. Okay? They're not true. I'm too fat. I'm too skinny. I can't do this. I can't do this. No, those are limiting beliefs. We can go in and we can go and help you see life differently with your hypnosis. We can go and get rid of that. You now have unlimited potential, which as long as you have limiting beliefs, you can't. So we're removing all your obstacles and allowing you to go and pursue a future that you're actually, you deserve.
Yeah, it's funny. People will tell me they can't be hypnotized, and then they tell me what their political beliefs are.
I keep telling you that all the time. I can't be hypnotized. And one of the first things I tell them, I said, do you realize you go into hypnosis about 7 times a day?
Right.
I said, it's a natural process.
Yeah.
I said, the difference is that I'm not the one giving it to you. You're doing it to yourself. I said, but if I was to sit there and hypnotize you, I could change your entire world.
Exactly. I mean, virtually anything that you believe, and this is what people don't realize. People think that hypnosis is a state where people look like they're asleep and drool on themselves and they're controlled by another person. But you're constantly being hypnotized. If you believe in a political party, if you believe certain medical facts, if you believe certain things about society, everything you've been hypnotized to believe, and you don't know it.
I tell people when they come in, they ask me, well, hypnosis isn't real. And I said, let me ask you something. You got a driver's license? Yeah. You ever driven a car? Yeah. You do realize in California Department of Motor Vehicles test, there's a thing called highway hypnosis. It's in the California the California driving manual. It's like, how can you not believe it? Another thing, when people turn around and tell me they don't believe in hypnosis or the subconscious mind, I tell them, I said, have you ever turned around and try to exercise or run? Like in the Marines, we used to turn around and have what's called cadence, running. Yeah. And we used to go and sing. And one of the times, one of my troops came and asked me, goes, why do we do that? And I said, do you know why? Guess why? Because if you're running in about half a mile, you keep telling yourself, at a half a mile, I constantly have a pain on my side. Oh my God, I'm going to pay something, because I always do it. Every time I get a pain on my side. It's called psychosomatic. Yeah. You're going to get a physical pain inside because your brain is actually creating a pain because you're telling it to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And people are like, oh, I didn't look at it that way. And I'm like, yeah, subconscious mind.
Exactly. All right. We are here promoting our brand new book, dropped today, called Mastery of the Mind, The Pathway to Empowerment. This is our launch event, May 4th and May 5th. And if you buy during these 2 days, May 4th and May 5th, you will get $1,000, over $1,000 in gifts from each of the authors. We have all put together a great package of gifts valued at more than $1,000. Wonderful things like courses and books and even sessions and things like that. So get it at masteryofthemind.com. Make sure that you get it there. Otherwise, you won't get the books. And let's look at our stats, Ron. Let's see where we're at. We are, here's the website, by the way, that you come to. When you come here, you click the button that says get the book now, and it will give you the instructions. It will lead you over here to Amazon. Then you have to follow the rest of the instructions to get the book. All right, we're hitting the refresh button. Let's see where we are. We are still number 523 in books, number 2 in NLP, number 11 in spiritual self-help, and number 23 in motivational. I am confident that with everybody's help, keep getting the book, everybody. We're going to hit number 1 in all 3 categories. And look at this. We're only 522 positions away from hitting number 1 on all of Amazon, which I think we can do.
We can do.
Need help. If you already bought a copy of the book, drop a comment. And thank you, Ron, for hanging out with me and for contributing to the book.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. All right.
Good luck to us today.
Thank you. All right. Next, we have Faith Hart. And let me get my screen reset here. There we go. There's Faith. Hi, Faith. How you doing?
Hello. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. So Faith is the founder of Align with Faith. It's a nationally board certified master health coach, or she's a nationally board certified master health coach, an emotional eating and gut health specialist, and master life success coach. She's trained at the Health Coach Institute and the Institute of Integrative Nutrition and Yoga Works, and featured on ABC, CBS, Fox, and NBC. Faith empowers women through self-care and well-being, drawing from her background as a professional dancer, Pilates teacher, and essential oils specialist. Faith is a dedicated mother of 4 and grateful for their unwavering support. In Faith chapter, she shares her journey of overcoming adversity and finding inner strength through the power of the mind. Drawing from her own experiences of abuse and resilience, she offers a message of hope, encouragement, and practical insight for those who are seeking to break free from the chains of adversity and embrace a life of inner peace and abundance. Faith provides guidance and support to help cultivate a mindset of empowerment and to master your thoughts to overcome life's challenges. So Faith, tell us what inspired you to become part of this book and to write your chapter.
Well, it's been a labor of my love for a long time. It's been a passion I've been writing secretly for a long, long time. So this book is passionate, not just to me, but to my kids, to just be able to get out there and help others.
I love it. And was there a catalyst or something that that really moved you or caused you to write this chapter?
Yes. As we all have adversities and traumas and anything and everything that is a hardship in our life, we kind of get lost in the process. And in this story, it just gives hope and light, knowing that you're not alone and there's more for you on the other side. You just have to believe it. And so this is an inspiring story. I hope I can help others as they embrace this chapter called Sea of Hope.
I love it. So in your chapter, one of the things that you touch on is the importance of self-love. What would you say to people who come to you and they say, look at me. How could I love myself? I'm a mess. Nobody could love me.
Well, that would be something I would definitely take them in as a client to start. But you are worthy. You are enough. And there is so much more within. When we're children, we believe anything and everything is possible. So as we get older, we lose that mindset and we start having limited beliefs and we get swallowed by the world sometimes. So with this embrace of this chapter, I'm really hoping that you can just reset and find your inner self again and strength to really believe in who you are. Everyone has a purpose in life and we forget that. We get lost in the day-to-day world. So you are amazing, and I just hope to bring love and light to you today.
In your chapter, you quote Audrey Hepburn. Nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible. I am possible. And I love this quote because it speaks to what we teach in NLP is the most powerful function of the mind, which is identity. So how is identity important when it comes to changing unfavorable conditions in a person's life?
Well, for one, you mentioned a quote that has always been something of my favorite since I was a child. And I held on to that to help me believe that I could accomplish dreams. So that's an amazing quote to begin with. And two, to answer your question, identity is balanced in so many different ways. We can look at us as a career, as an identity, but then we forget that's not really who we truly are. We are a person here to really embrace anything and everything. And we lose our identity and belief sometimes through trauma, through anything that's going on that's hard for them that they can't really embrace. So with that, through the coaching, I'm able to help you find and reconnect within yourself, mind, body, and spirit.
I love it. You talk about, you spoke earlier about, when we're children, when we look at children who are, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, I always say, there are so many people that, for example, they don't think they're good at learning. But if you look back when you were 3, 4, 5 years old, you were excellent at learning. The difference is you used to play your way to learn, and now you work your way to learn, right? So what are some of those those corollaries. You know, your unconscious mind, everybody's unconscious mind is, if we could put an age on it, about 7 years old.
Right.
And I think a lot of times what we've done is we've maybe grown up too much. And a lot of that growing up was based in trauma and based in shame and based in, you know, other people wagging their finger at us and saying, you know, you need to, and putting, you know, imposing restrictions on us. So what do you think about, you know, getting people back to that kind of, that nature where we were playful, where we were exploratory and curious and fun, and how does that fit into your work?
Well, for one, I used to work with autistic children in the school district. So just to get you to a center of yourself and find your higher purpose, you have to really spend time quietly and remember who your inner child was and not forget, because like you said, 7, 8-year-old, you have anything and everything in the world to believe. And you're even asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you try every sport possible or anything and everything. And it is the limited beliefs that come in. And then we start into fixed mind and closed mind. And then the world just kind of, as we get older, takes us in a different path. But we can't forget who we are as a child, because that is where you were safe and the love and the belonging was there. And we lose that sometimes as we become as an adult. So through my coaching, if there's anything going on, I kind of help you, bring you back to that center of yourself within, and then bring you the love and light to really center yourself into who you are today and that balance. And so therefore, that's why I align your, you know, mind, body, and spirit, and point you back to wellness.
I love it. So, you know, Faith is literally your middle name. How has your faith, and you write quite a bit about this in your chapter, but how has your faith helped you to master your mind?
Well, that became a nickname through everything that I've gone through. My own children named me that. It was like a second name that came about through adversities, and it's been a blessing. So walking through faith, having faith in the times that you are in a dark moment, I think that's where we really need to hold on to if we don't see the light. And I really just love pulling in that to my work to really give that abundant life back to each client, because we all have a purpose and a plan to really enjoy life. You know, we're not here to have trauma and troubles and anything possible. So I want to help find that balance and align you back to where you're just peaceful and joyful and anything possible.
Sorry, I sneezed right when you stopped talking. And then, you know, this is such an important thing, is that people have forgotten, or maybe never got the instruction that we're meant to enjoy life. You know, and I think so often it's people put things upon themselves and even sometimes put themselves in situations, sometimes out of obligation, rather than realizing the obligation that we have to ourselves. What do you believe there's an obligation that you have to yourself to enjoy your life?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I couldn't imagine. I mean, I'm all for, like, let's stop and be simple. Let's smell a rose. Let's take a moment and smile and be present in the person in front of you. Sometimes we rush through life. We miss the simple moments. And if we don't really pause and recognize what really brought you to where you are, you're not able to reflect and then move forward for the better. So I believe just being simple as much as possible and being grateful. And that's the way to move forward.
Yeah, that's huge. You know, a lot of times when I tell people about being grateful, gratitude, I sort of get this eye roll. Oh yeah, gratitude. You know, I've practiced gratitude. It doesn't work. And it's like, okay, tell me how you practice gratitude. Well, I'm grateful I have that BMW in the driveway, and I'm grateful I have this, you know, this nice computer, and I'm grateful for this, and I'm grateful for that. And I go, hang on, you're not practicing gratitude correctly. Because gratitude is a process. I mean, those are, you can have gratitude for those things. That's nice. But gratitude is a healing process, is where you look into the places where you have no gratitude and you find it.
Definitely 100% agree with you on that.
So, how does gratitude play into your coaching with your members, with your clients?
I think more so just finding that inner peace and really looking at their life in a way that they're able to accomplish their goals and believe that even no matter what age you're at, a child or an adult, you know, you are capable of accomplishing that dream or that thing on the bucket list that you still wish to have. And regarding your health, you know, it's just you really sitting down and looking within and say, okay, what can I do to do better to really enjoy my life today? So
I love it. So what's one tip that you can give people from your chapter that, you know, we really kind of give them a little taster, a teaser of what it is that you wrote? What's something practical that people can implement in their life and maybe like a process for how they can do that?
I would say that you are enough today and tomorrow, and just really never let go of hope, no matter what is going on in your life. It may be hard at the moment, but you are not alone. And there is a tomorrow. There is that rainbow, like when you were a child. Don't let that go. And there are support around you more than you know. And so I'm here for you as well. And I hope this chapter just gives you love and light to really, you're able to just sit and believe again and enjoy. So
I love it. So Faith's chapter is chapter 18. It's called Sea of Hope. And this is the chapter in our brand new book, which just dropped today, which we are promoting during the launch. It's called Mastery of the Mind, Pathway to Empowerment. And this book is a labor of love. We have all spent the last 12 weeks working on this together, each of us contributing one chapter and really pouring our life's energy source into it, right? I mean, I know it's just words, it's just black ink on a page, but really what this comes down to is the effects of our own transformation, right? Every person who contributed a chapter in this book, we've all been through adversity. We've all been through challenges. We have all found tools and techniques and processes that have helped us overcome that. And now we're sharing it with others. This is an example of what I call turning effort into energy. And so this book will change your life. We already have some reviews on Amazon from some of the people who got the early edition of it, saying that it is life-changing. Some of the comments are coming in as well, people who've gotten it already. If you order it today or tomorrow, May 4th or May 5th, then you will get $1,000 in special launch gifts that I and the other authors have put together in order to thank you, or maybe ethically bribe you, to get the book during our launch sale. And the way that you do that is you go to masteryofthemind.com. Masteryofthemind.com. When you go there, you're going to see this beautiful website where you can read a little bit about the book, you can read a little bit about the authors, and you can get the book for just $6.15. So not only are you going to get the $1,000 in launch gifts for us thanking you for helping us during the 2 launch days, which will help us get to hopefully #1 bestseller in 3 categories, and man, really hopefully get us to #1 on all of Amazon. How amazing would it be to have a positive mindset book and neurolinguistic programming book, the #1 book on Amazon? I don't think it's ever been done, at least as far as I've known. And I do follow a lot of these books on Amazon. I don't think an NLP book has ever gotten to #1 on all of Amazon. So it's only $6.15. You get the $1,000 in launch gifts, and then also each chapter has another gift at the end of it. It's almost $2,000 worth of gifts. All right, Faith, are you ready?
I am ready.
Let's do our refresh. Amazon probably thinks I'm crazy over here. They're like, who's this person spamming our site? Refreshing every 15 minutes. All right. We are sitting solidly still at 523 in all books. We're 522 spots from #1. But by the way, those are the hardest 522 spots to go. So we need a lot of help still. If you haven't gotten a book, get a book. We're #2 in NLP, #11 in spiritual self-help, and #23 in motivation. So we are clawing our way to the top of Amazon. And I think it's about time that we actually have a good positive book at the top of Amazon. So, all right. So make sure that you go get it. It's just $6.15. Thank you so much, Faith, for joining me today and hanging out and for contributing your chapter to the book and everything else that you do.
Thank you. It was definitely a delight.
Awesome. All right. And I'm excited to bring on our next author. However, I don't see him. We'll give him a few minutes. Jensen, if you are watching, we need you in the green room. Maybe Kayla, maybe you can text him. He's our final author of the day. Kayla says she's called 5 times and texted 5 times. Oh, Jensen just popped on. There he is. Yay. Just in time. I love it. All right. So we are here, and let me get your banner up now with Jensen. Jensen is chapter number 1. We couldn't miss author number 1 in the whole book, right? So Jensen is chapter number 1, achieving your goals and focus with focus and discipline. So Jensen Montere is a dual bachelor's and master's degree holder in engineering, combines his technical expertise with a visionary perspective to push boundaries. As a former athlete and current powerlifting competitor, Jensen understands the importance of mental and physical harmony. Driven to empower others, he became a master practitioner in neurolinguistic programming, blending his engineering mindset with insights into the human mind to help individuals unlock their full potential. In his chapter number 1, Jensen shares valuable insights and techniques for achieving goals through focus and discipline. He emphasizes the importance of setting goals the right way and taking action. By incorporating these strategies into his daily routine and fueling the body and brain with healthy habits, you can cultivate the focus and discipline necessary to reach your fullest potential. So Jensen, welcome. Please tell us what inspired you to become part of this book and to write your chapter.
Well, for a long time, I think that I always wanted to do many things. And I felt like I didn't have a structure of how to accomplish it. And that made me, when I learned NLP, I learned that there was a better way of being disciplined and focused and being able to achieve goals that one wanted to, set out for myself, for anybody. And so that's what really inspired me to look into NLP.
I love it. NLP has changed my life as well. What got you into NLP and how has it changed your life? How has it impacted your life?
For a long time, there was a time where I really went through tough moments. Like, for example, depression, discouragement, not feeling really motivated. And even though I looked for treatments and talking to, for example, like psychologists, it didn't really work out. So I always believed that the mind is powerful. And so I was looking through the internet one time and I ran into NLP. And then I thought, you know what, this is maybe the best way, because if I am in control, then I can control my emotions. I can control how I react in my feelings, in my actions. So I started looking into it. And when I did the first in Transform Destiny, they have the neurolinguistic programming kind of like introduction. And when I went into that program, I was like, wow, man, this is really what I'm looking for. And after that, I felt like this has made a big difference in my life. I'm sorry, I don't know what happened, but I can't.
Oh, sorry. I muted my microphone. Sorry about that. So in your book, you address something that not a lot of authors really addressed in depth, which is that mastering your mind in part requires you to master your physical health. So taking care of physical health, speak to that and how that affects mastery of the mind.
Well, if you want to be really, if you want to control your mind, you also have to take care of your body. And to do that, you have to really have or follow a, nutrition. Sleep good, eat better, drink a lot of water. Because if you don't do that, how are you? I mean, your brain is like a muscle. you have to feed it, you have to take care of it, and in order to do that, you have to eat healthy, and just like any other body part of yours. And if you don't do that, of course, your mind is not going to be functioning at optimum levels.
It's such a powerful thing. I am about 3 years ago now, I got diagnosed with diabetes while I was in the hospital with COVID, almost died. And that was, a lot of people say, well, isn't that scary? Wasn't that the horror? Wasn't that the worst news you could get? You got a diagnosis. Oh my God. And for me, it was like, no, that was the best thing that happened in my life. Right. Because that was my moment where I said, okay, I'm not treating my body right. Right.
Exactly.
And the doctors will say that I'll have diabetes for the rest of my life, but I've been able to manage it and mitigate it by changing my diet, changing my lifestyle. Right. I've changed the food that I eat. I eat a largely a diet that is almost completely void of any refined carbs, mostly ketogenic. Quit drinking alcohol. I quit caffeine. I walk 3 to 5 miles every day. And I have to tell you, when I was younger, I would have thought, no, none of that stuff is going to make me feel any different. It's just going to be work. But at 51 years old, I feel better than I've felt when I was 31 years old. Mm-hmm. And that absolutely has affected my mindset.
And the other thing is that you have to, I remember there was an experiment about plants where what it did, it's there was I think it was like a flower, and when you talk to it, and what they did is they did an experiment where the person talked to it but was like angry, and cursing the flower, and just being angry at the flower. And what happened was that it started to what was the name? What's the word?
Praise
it started to. What's the word? Like it started.
Oh yeah, like wilt.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so when the person started talking to it like with care, with love, it started again to flourish. And that's the same way with the body. You have to love yourself. You have to treat it right, so that you can make changes, the changes that you need to make, the changes that you want to make. And that's one powerful thing that I learned is love yourself, love your body, and then the changes will come.
I love it. It's so powerful. As a hypnotherapist, I've been a hypnotherapist for 24 years now, and I always tell people you cannot hate fat off your body. Mm-hmm. You have to love your body to health. You can't hate your body into health. It's such an important thing. So in your chapter, you introduced a concept called autogenic training. For those who may not be familiar with the term, what's a simple definition, and why is autogenic training important to mastery of the mind?
It's a way to achieve relaxation and to be able to control your basically like your body, your muscles, your temperature. It really I started using it when I started competing in high school. Mm-hmm. And it really did achieve a very relaxed state for me, and I use it up to now. I still use it, and I feel that it's at the beginning it's a little bit hard, but afterwards it's like the best way for me at least, to achieve total and complete relaxation. It's
I love it.
Like being in control of your body, how you feel. It's a deep connection, I think.
That's great. And in your chapter, you give a step-by-step process for doing that. So if you don't know how to do autogenic training, make sure you get a copy of the book and read Jensen's chapter number 1. So you touch on one of my favorite subjects for life mastery, which is the power of being at cause. So explain the power of being at cause and what it means personally to you.
Oh, it means a lot to me, because for a long time, I think that I was also living at a defect where, blaming everything for what I was doing or my accomplishments. But then with NLP, I remember the first time that I went to a training, and they were talking about, in fact, it was Ryan. He was talking about being a cause. And I realized, you know what? It's true. You are in control of your own emotions, of your actions, and that's the only way that you can really accomplish what you want. If you accept, you're accountable for your own actions and what you do in life. So it's something that I live by now, in order to accomplish the things that I want.
I love it. It's beautiful. So tell me about, for someone who struggles with maintaining focus and discipline, what would be the first steps you recommend to try to start building these habits?
It's not easy at the beginning. For me, for a long time, I always wanted to do too many things at a time. Like even at work, there would be a lot of projects, and I would be like, I can do it, but it will be too much. And so one of the things that I learned is that in order to be able to complete the projects or achieve the things that I wanted, I needed to have focus. And so that meant for me, I have to only concentrate or focus on one project at a time, maybe 2 or 3, but that's it. And with discipline, what I learned is that if I'm not organized, and if I am not thinking about or planning about the things that I need to do, then it's very hard for me to complete them. And so that's why I learned about being focused and being disciplined in order to be able to complete the things that I wanted to achieve.
That's great. And so a big part of your focus is on, well, explain to us who exactly do you work with? Who is your ideal client?
Anybody that wants to change their lives, achieve goals, such as losing weight, quit smoking, somebody that wants to achieve the things that they want but haven't been able to. Athletes, just about anybody that wants help. I want to be there for them and to help them out.
I love it. All right. Well, we are here promoting our brand new book, which just dropped today. It's called Mastery of the Mind, The Pathway to Empowerment. This is myself and 18 other authors who have come together. We all are united on our knowledge of neurolinguistic programming, hypnotherapy, and the subconscious mind, but we also have other perspectives, health perspectives, energy perspectives, psychology perspectives throughout the book, even divorce attorney perspective. So we've got a wide variety of people who come at this topic from different angles, all united together with neurolinguistic programming. So the book is called Mastery of the Mind, The Pathway to Empowerment. The launch event is today and tomorrow. So if you're watching this live, today, May 4th, and tomorrow, May 5th, well, even if you're not watching it live, it's those dates. And if you get the book, it's only $6.15. That's a no-brainer, right? If you get the book on today or tomorrow, May 4th or May 5th, then you will get over $1,000 in special launch gifts that I and the other authors have put together. We have all put together very valuable gifts to I don't know if it's to reward you or to bribe you to get the book, but maybe both. But these are real valuable gifts, right? These are not like, here's a 2-page PDF that I call an ebook. These are, I'm giving away an entire course that I charge $200 for. So support us through this website right here, www.masteryofthemindbook.com. When you get it there, here is what you're going to see. You're going to come over here to, and I left the wrong website up again. There we go. You're going to come over here to this website. It's very important you get it at this website, not directly from Amazon. Because if you get it directly from Amazon, you will not get the $1,000 in gifts, right? You have to do a 3-step process here to show your support for the book. So come here to the website. you can read a little bit about the book, you can read a little bit about the authors, and then you can get it right here for $6.15. When you click the button, it's going to give you the instructions. You will buy it from Amazon, but there are 2 more steps after that. So make sure that you get it through masteryofthemindbook.com. All right, Jensen, are you ready for our final time live today? Whoops.
I am ready. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do a hard refresh on the page and see where we're at. Here we go. Drum roll, please. We are holding strong at 523 in all books, number 2 in NLP, number 11. And I'm sure this has gone up by now. It just takes, sometimes it's every 30 minutes, sometimes it's every hour for Amazon to refresh it. But hopefully the next time we refresh this, we're going to see number 1 in 2 or 3 categories. And we are going for that number 1 spot. We're only 522 spots away right now from hitting the number 1 book on Amazon. I think it's about time a book on neurolinguistic programming comes number 1. So if you think that too, then please buy a copy or 2. Maybe you want to buy a copy for a friend as well. I don't know. But we would appreciate it if you get at least 1. And if you've already got a copy, drop a comment. Let others know that you got your copy. As you know how it is, right? Social proof always helps. Yep, and we are listed as the number 1 hot new release in neurolinguistic programming. We want to hit that number 1 bestseller status, though. We're 1 spot away from that in the NLP category. All right, thank you so much, Jensen. Really appreciate you contributing to the book, number 1 chapter in the book, so you get to be the first person that people read. And thanks for coming on the interview with me. And everybody tune in tomorrow for our second half of our virtual book tour. So we got through our first 9 authors today. Tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, 10 a.m., we will be live for the next 9. And you can access that tomorrow morning through masteryofthemindbook.com/tour. I'll put a little banner up for that. masteryofthemindbook.com/tour. Live tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific. There we go. Put that up there. And that will take you over to the YouTube channel where you can watch it live, or wherever you're watching it right now, we'll also be live tomorrow at the same time. So thank you so much to all of my co-authors. You've all been amazing. We've been working on this, slaving on this for the last 12 weeks. And it's been a labor of love. There's just amazing, amazing content in there. We already have some great reviews from people saying that what they've read has changed their perspective on life, has changed their life, has given them great practical tools. This is not, by the way, a fluff book, right? Not to put down Chicken Soup for the Soul, but books like Chicken Soup for the Soul are just inspirational stories. And inspiration is a great thing. I'm not putting it down, but there are practical tips. There are actual tools in here that you can use. I describe a step-by-step process in my chapter for achieving anything that you want in life, literally step-by-step to achieve anything. So very practical tips and tools in this book. And I know you're going to, as well as inspirational stories. And I know you're going to love it. So again, it is masteryofthemindbook.com. Masteryofthemindbook.com is where you can get the book. I'll change this back. There we go. Make sure that you get it through this website. Otherwise, you won't get the $1,000 in launch gifts. So it's actually, if you buy today or tomorrow, you're getting about $2,000 in gifts, because we're giving you the $1,000 in launch gifts. And then there's also a gift at the end of every chapter from each of the authors, right? And so it's closer to $2,000 worth of gifts for $6.15. And you will help get this into many people's hands, change lots of lives, and hopefully make an NLP book a number 1 best-selling book on Amazon. I love it. Gail, thank you so much. Thank you for great interviews. Can't wait to get my book in the mail. Donna, if you already ordered the book, then send your receipt to cs@transformdestiny.com. Just find your Amazon receipt that they emailed you, forward that over to cs@transformdestiny.com today. The launch gifts are only available for a week, so this is important. If you have bought today or tomorrow, make sure that you get in and get all your gifts within the next week, because we're not going to leave the launch gifts out there forever. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. This has been a wonderful experience for me. Lots of fun interviewing the authors and getting to know them. Tune in tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific time, and we'll go through the next 9 authors. So thanks so much, everybody. Hakalau. Bye.